Yeah, I just finished watching your punk-ass program on histories, mysteries about the crop circles. We got those three retarded MIT students. Your conclusions were retarded. You're stupid for even being involved in this punk-ass piece of shit wannabe documentary. And that was the smallest goddamn crop circle. Not those two fuckers at the end said, oh, we'll give it a B- or an A- or a B+. Those stupid, those fucking kids. Where did you find those fucking lame-ass? Why did you, God, why does there always have to be fucking bullshit propaganda about crop circles? It's a fucking unsolved mystery. That crop circle that you guys fucking made was tiny compared to the ones that are appearing. They're giant. They're fucking bigger than two football fields, you fuck. And you have to be involved in a fucking propaganda bullshit with all those fucking idiots. What are they, 18-year-old fucking wannabe MIT scientists? They all said, oh, the humans are probably making these fucking, who the fuck is putting all that goddamn energy? Fucking, put a fucking gun in your head right now. Yeah, I just finished watching your punk-ass program on histories, mysteries about the crop circles. We got those three retarded MIT students. Your conclusions were retarded. You're stupid for even being involved in this punk-ass piece of shit wannabe documentary. And that was the smallest goddamn crop circle. Not those two fuckers at the end said, oh, we'll give it a B- or an A- or a B+. Those stupid, those fucking kids. Where did you find those fucking lame-ass? Why did you, God, why does there always have to be fucking bullshit propaganda about crop circles? It's a fucking unsolved mystery. That crop circle that you guys fucking made was tiny compared to the ones that are appearing. They're giant. They're fucking bigger than two football fields, you fuck. And you have to be involved in a fucking propaganda bullshit with all those fucking idiots. What are they, 18-year-old fucking wannabe MIT scientists? They all said, oh, the humans are probably making these fucking, who the fuck is putting all that goddamn energy? Put a fucking gun in your head right now. Yeah, I just finished watching your punk-ass program on histories, mysteries about the crop circles. We got those three retarded MIT students. Your conclusions were retarded. You're stupid for even being involved in this punk-ass piece of shit wannabe documentary. And that was the smallest goddamn crop circle. Not those two fuckers at the end said, oh, we'll give it a B- or an A- or a B+. Those stupid, those fucking kids. Where did you find those fucking lame-ass? Why did you, God, why does there always have to be fucking bullshit propaganda about crop circles? It's a fucking unsolved mystery. That crop circle that you guys fucking made was tiny compared to the ones that are appearing. They're giant. They're fucking bigger than two football fields, you fuck. And you have to be involved in a fucking propaganda bullshit with all those fucking idiots. What are they, 18-year-old fucking wannabe MIT scientists? They all said, oh, humans are probably making these fucking, who the fuck is putting all that goddamn energy?
Well, hello and welcome to CirclemakersTV. It's Matthew Williams, your host, very stressed host this week because we've had lots of work to do and I'm just not used to it. So, yeah, this show has come together with about 5 minutes to spare. It's been absolutely crazy, but I hope it's going to be a good one. We've got a rather unusual guest this week, and you know, he's basically sort of down here. So, welcome to the guest. Oh, look, it's Jesus. Jesus is my friend. Look where he is. He's we're very friendly. We're on first names terms now. But no, this is not the guest. He's a bit deflated, but he's not my guest this week. We've got a very interesting show, a very different show. Guess what? We have no guest this week. It's going to be one of those shows, I'm afraid. We haven't got a guest. But we've got a very good thing instead of a guest. because a guest has been in the studio, but a guest has given us something which should be quite amazing this week, and I think you're going to be quite surprised. This is a landmark show, and I think you probably want to tell your friends about this one, because I don't think this has ever been done before. So a guest has been in, and this guest is, in fact, a circle maker. Well, we're used to that. It's Circlemakers TV. But we can't really tell you much about this guest. We are prevented by an agreement that we have that we don't discuss who this person is. And we're not going to tell you whether it's a he or a she. You'll have to guess these things yourself. Now, if you guess them in channel, we might then elaborate upon it. But we're not going to say which circles this circle maker has done. We're going to leave it open to you to decide. So the whole theme of this show is going to be about how to design crop circles. Now, the crop circles you're going to see in the show tonight, we are again not trying to imply that these circles have been done by this circle designer. Okay, in his capacity tonight, he's doing circle design, but he is a circle maker. Now, we're not trying to imply that these specific ones have been done by this circle maker, but what we're trying to do is show you that crop circles can be designed on paper within a very reasonable amount of time. You know, it's not like Michael Glickman's been putting it over the years, whereby he says, goodness gracious, these things would take me days to design on paper, and then it would take me a week to even get surveyors to mark out the positions in the field. It would just take an enormous amount of time. Now, what we're going to show you is with a very unique technique, because obviously if we didn't do it this way, people would cry foul of what we're trying to do. But what we're going to do with this technique is we're going to show you the circle maker doing circle designs. Maybe they're his, maybe they're hers, maybe they're its. We're not saying. You have to decide. And basically, we've got a little timer running in the corner, and that timer gives you an idea of what the real time was when these designs were being put on the paper. Now, because of the length of these designs to do, some of them are quite complicated, and they take a while, and we've only got really between a 2 and a 3 hour show. So what we have had to do is, for brevity, to get them in the show, to get more than one design in on the show, we've actually sped them up. So what you'll see when you're watching them is obviously certain speeds will be normal speeds, you can tell, and then some of them are going to speed up for a bit, and then it's going to switch speeds from high speeds in bits where there's not much happening and it's a long protracted area, down to slow speeds where you need to see a bit of the detail on what's going on. And we're going to talk over the top, we're going to take questions, we may even take Skype-ins whilst this is happening, but we're going to describe what we're seeing as best we can remember that we're meant to say, because we've discussed certain things that we can talk about with these. But we're going to get you to sort of comment on them, and we'll read your comments out over the top. So most of the show is actually going to be taken up with this. It's not going to be me, so it's not a boring show this week. This has never been done before, as far as I'm aware. To my knowledge, no circle maker has actually shown their designs being done from beginning to end. That's never been done. And a circle designer certainly doing either his or her own works, and putting them in, or other people's works. It's never been done from end to end. It's a completely new thing, and we'd just like to share that with you. So we've got them lined up. Let's see if I can get this to work. Right, the first one, and we're not going to tell you which ones these are. So if you can tell us, the quickest person to tell us in channel which design this is going to get kudos points. So we're going to be watching for you in channel. You tell us which circle you think this is, and we'll read your name out and say well done. So let's see if this works. Okay, now we haven't got any music, it's just going to be us chatting, so let's press the button. So this is number 1. And there you go. Right, we've got the counters running in the corner. We're running at what normal speed here, so this is 100%. And what you're seeing is a ruler, and the ruler is being used with the compass to actually work out the distances that have to be have to be put in. Now, the distances were worked out on a little sheet of paper which is next to the Circle Designer, and you can see his technique is to actually turn the paper. I said his or her, right? I mean, you guess. What do you reckon? Is that a female hands? Do those hands look like they've done a day's work in their life, or are they builders' hands? What do you reckon? Okay, so we've got anybody guess what it is so far? Come on, it must be obvious. You can tell from that, surely. Yeah. Come on, you got loads of potential there. Anybody got any guesses? No. Well, somebody's saying, right, let's put Agent S's mic up. There you go. Say hello.
Hello?
There you go.
Hello.
We got you?
Yes, Gordy said that's a man's hands.
I think it is a man's hands.
But are we, is it Rolf's Cartoon Club yet, or?
Rolf's Cartoon Club, yeah. No, it's the Michael Glickman Anti-Appreciation Society, this is.
Sunday Girl was saying Wilton Windmill.
Oh, a Wilton Windmill. Not quite. No. Now, any point now, you should be able to start telling. Any point now. You should have got it by now. Right.
Dion saying an owl.
Oh, not quite. You should be getting it now.
This is the French kind of style one, Unix says.
This is it's total giveaway now. If you haven't got it by now, you're either not a circle maker or you should have been researching for a few years longer. Perhaps.
Dion says rape.
Oh yes, I'd like that, please. Oh, sorry. I mean, you mean this was done in rape?
Perv.
Yeah, right. Okay, it was done in rape. Yes.
Old Sarum, Sunday Girl says.
I don't think so.
Stonehenge for Unix.
No. But look at the technique that's involved. Let's go back to this a second.
How about
Oliver's Castle? Yes, Goat Boy.
Goat Boy, does he get it?
Goat Boy got it. Yeah, Goat Boy got it. It's Oliver's Castle.
Panorama logo.
Well done. Not the Panorama logo. No, I know which one you mean. No, it's obviously not the Panorama logo. The one that looked similar to the Panorama logo. I'm not sure if it was an exact copy, but there we go. Now, up in the top right-hand corner, you can see there's a little screen which shows you a side shot. We'll see a little bit more of that in a bit. So, okay. So there it is, Oliver's Castle. Now, what we've done is we switched to a static shot, and we're filling these in. So we're using Photoshop to fill these in, and as you can see, that's the finished version, and this is what the original one in the field looked like. So, do you think there's much of a comparison there? I think they look pretty good. Now,
well,
what you can see, now we can bring these up, if you want to get ready
okay.
with that photo on there, Agent S is going to bring up some bits and pieces. They're not all of them, are they, if you want to go into the other folder? Oh, they are there. There's only 3 in there. Oh no, you've got more. Sorry, what am I on about?
Here, is it?
There you go. Right.
That one.
If you need
that one first?
Yeah, we might come back to it in a second. So if you see if anybody's got any comments or questions whilst we're dealing with this one.
Oh.
And we've got to move on fairly quickly to some of the others because we've got a lot to go through in this show tonight.
Egg slicer, Unix says.
Somebody says it looks like an egg slicer. Yeah, it has got that quality. Now, what I'm supposed to mention with some of these is that it was in the Oliver's Castle Hill Fort near Devizes, and the partial rings, as I'm looking at them there, they kind of give an illusion of a 3D sphere. So a 3D sphere, it's showing you sort of like relief from the side. So you're kind of getting the stretching going away from you, and it's a good little 3D effect. I like that. So you have to make your mind up what you think with these, but that's just to give you an idea of how long it can take to do a design. So if you were watching the counter on the side, now I'll have to keep an eye on this counter myself because I didn't write them down, so if we talk about it, hang on.
We can watch the replay as well.
We can watch the replay, yeah, we can always fast forward it back. But I need to get a pen from somewhere, pencil will do. Right, okay, so that's 1. Let's skip on, we won't waste any time here. We're going to go on to number 2. So anyone who can guess what this is, say in channel, and we will read out your name if you can work out what this is. So, off we go. Now, there you go, little lens flare effect there, for little balls of light shooting off into the distance. Now, as you can see, the ruler's being used again to take measurements. Keep an eye on that time down in the corner, and you'll see it speeding up from time to time. Okay. I'm getting breath off you there, breathing
Oh,
in.
sorry.
That's
I'm
okay.
breathing heavily.
You're doing heavy breathing. They can't see what we're up to now, so we don't want to give them any ideas. Okay, you're not going to get it from this, not just yet. But this one was in the classic area of crop circles. You know, where you'd expect most of the crop circles to appear in the summer months, where you get a heavy contingent. There's a little bit of a clue. So the show format this week is going to be most of this, and then at the end we're going to have a competition. And the competition, which we haven't quite decided exactly which thing to ask you, but when we've decided that, we shall offer, because we've been very generously given one of these designs, and you can pick which one you want. We've got the original designs, and you can win one, and it will be done by somebody who is a circle maker, but on this occasion has become a circle designer in order to show you how these things can be done. So there we are. What we're seeing at the first is a central ring has been put in, and measurements have been taken on the compass, and now the compass is being used to actually press in little points, so that when you come back to those points again, your compass will just seat. It's like a pit. So they're pressing down the compass to, and there he's doing it again, to actually seat the compass in the exact spot so it doesn't slide around, because that can happen when you're doing many circles, is it'll actually slide about a bit and then you'll get inaccurate circles. So as you can see, we're up to about 2 minutes now. In these beginning bits we run it at normal speed, and then when we get on to complicated bits you'll see it speeding up. And when we're in close, we use the side camera, which is up in the top right, so that you can see that there's no camera edits or jiggery-pokery being done. You're actually seeing the whole thing in proper time. There we are. So what have we got in channel then?
We've got Crossbones noticed a Sky TV advert underneath this broadcast, and Unix sees a WH Smith logo. So
good point. It's nothing to do with sponsorship. It's just to do with a magazine that was brought by the Circle designer, and literally just so that he can use that to press down with his compass point and not have it go into the hard surface underneath. It's so that it'll actually absorb the compass press down.
Crossbones saying sponsored by WH Smith.
Nope, it's just a magazine, and it just happens to have the Sky advert for Sky TV or Sky Broadband.
Razzle magazine.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Is it? You can actually see it that well. Is the picture quality good, by the way? Because we weren't sure.
Oh, he's joking.
Oh, right, I see.
I don't know.
No, it's probably Penthouse or something like that. But, right, okay, so we've got an inner circle, and around the edges of the inner circle, I'm not sure exactly how many points there were, but we've got several, 7, 8, 9 points, something like that, and what the compass is doing is going round these points that are pressed in, and then it's taking a different point along this penciled circle. It's going along the pencil circle and those pressed in points, and then it's going to this new radius measurement on the compass. See him going to another point, and then it allows him to actually start scribing, and you're seeing that they're working their way round. So I'm hoping, can everybody actually see the pencil line in this? Because I've got a very small screen here. Can anybody see the pencil line? Because you probably see the pen line, but we have to zoom in like that for you to be able to see the pencil lines and the
I can vaguely
compass.
see them, yeah. Andy P is actually asking, is he right in saying that centimetres on paper are converted to feet when the design finally reaches the field?
Now we see it speed up now, so if you watch the counter you'll see that we're working about double or treble time. No, inches and centimetres on paper don't necessarily automatically change to being, if it's 3 inches on the paper, it won't be 3 inches in the field, or 3 centimetres on the paper will be 3 centimetres in the field. That's not how it works. What you have to do is you have to use a multiplication factor. So depending on how big you want to make it in the field, it might be 3 centimetres on paper times 15, and that's how big it would be in either feet, metres, however you wish to work. So there's always a multiplication factor that you'd work to. They are to scale, so the whole design would be, if you times it by 15, it might be 300 feet or whatever you're working to in feet or metres. I tend to use inches myself. I have historically used inches because the tape measure that you use out in the field is actually easier to see in the inch scale at night, because the meter scale is written in small letters and the centimetres are tiny. You have to actually pull out a torch and hold and cup the tape in your hand to be able to see it. If you're working in inches, although it's not a standard, there you go, it's Southfield.
We had 3 suggestions there, by the way.
Yes, somebody said, Goat Boy said Woodborough in 1997. So it was not far from Woodborough, it's actually the Southfield. So probably as good as.
Yeah.
So there you go.
We had Wilton Windmill from Dion and Crooked Soley from Sunday Girl.
No, it's not Wilton.
The Sunflower from Avabaza.
Right, okay, so there we fade out and then we come back to us. So, that was Southfield. It had interlocking rings. If you can bring that up on screen for us a second. Thanks. And if you go full screen on it, it's probably...
Sure.
It had interlocking rings, which some people might describe that as a spirograph type affair. Now, there we are. Have you got him?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so bringing this up on screen. So it's like a spirograph. Some people refer to this as a torus pattern because it's like a donut, which is referred to in 3D. This was a 3D object with a 3D relief around the sides, it would be a torus. And it actually is like a donut. That's the nearest thing to describe it, and if you don't know what a torus is. And it was in the field, in Southfield, Alton Barnes, next to the famous 1990 pictogram that was on the cover of Led Zeppelin's Remasters album. So that field. And if anybody's got any questions about this or anything you'd like to say, then ask us in channel. Now, how are we doing for time? We're on 9:30, so yeah, we need to be moving on because we've got quite a few of these.
Paid for my holiday, that one. I think
Really?
I said before. Yeah.
Okay. We've got Agent S here in the background. So
Yes.
yeah, so there she is with white. We've got some sort of chroma key going on again this week. So yeah, let's have a little look. Chroma key's working. We've got black patches on you. Let's stick on the backgrounds. There
That's
we
a
go.
demon coming out of me, look.
There we got some red going through you now. Anyway, back on with the fun. So, moving on quickly, we're on number 3, this is. Let me see if I can cue him up. Number 3, off we go. So anyone in channel can tell us what this is. And we'll read your name out as the expert in these things. So this one is not doing an awful lot. I press go, haven't I? Go. Okay, that's not really playing at the moment. Let me just see what's happening with this one. Okay, so play. Does that want to go?
Yeah.
Right, okay, so let me just rewind this. Play the media beginning when I go live. Here you go. Technical issues. It's going to go this time, I'm sure of it. Yay, there we go. I am the master of technological bullshit. So, the compass is being used. This particular compass is an interesting one because it's larger than the type you get for school kids would get. It allows you to put a pen, pencil or something larger into it and screw it in. As you can see, it's got a rather large cylinder area that you can actually put the pencil down into, and it allows you to do a lot more. Working with pencil can be a bit of a pain if you want to see things at night. You tend to have to work with a pen or a marker to see these lines at night, unless you want to use a torch. And we have discussed before, it's quite often you'll write your notes down for sizes in a thick marker pen so that you can see it at night without having to use a torch. Now there you go, see 2.5 has been measured. Be very careful with these measurements. You always have to look from overhead down at your measurement to make sure that your compass is aligned onto the ruler in exactly the right place. If you look from the side, from the left or the right, you might not position the compass directly on that 2.5 centimeter measurement. So here we are, making marks on the edge. Move the compass along to the next point, press it down hard so that you get a good indentation in the paper, and making marks on the edge. So I think we've got 1, 2, so that's the same one, I think. So how many we got here? I'm losing track. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is this a 7?
I don't know, they can't see the pencil in chat. I
It's
can't
not
see
easy.
it either.
It's not easy to see this, is it?
Oh, I can see the circle.
Yeah. Okay. Can't see the pencil, not through live stream. Okay. The pencil is a bit hard, but the pen, that's why we did it in pen
Yeah.
afterwards. So hopefully you're going to see that. Now the good news is, as well, we should say with this, it's based on a number 7. Yeah, it is based on a number 7. My notes say that. So I think I said 7, didn't I?
Yeah.
I counted 7. Okay. I can just about see it here on this screen. So anyone who can guess where this one is, let us know. It's based on 7, and 7 is a number which isn't done very often in crop circles. It's a number which I chose to do as my 7-fold star, the one I got arrested for, because Michael Glickman said that 7 is very hard to do, and you do have to have special skills. No circle maker could do number 7. So of course that was the number I chose in order to do my 7-fold star, and we all know what happened with that one because I was a bit silly in telling people I was out doing it. But there we go. Right, so here's the pen. Hopefully you can see this a little bit better now. So the inner circle is being used as the first circle, and using the same radius, same 2.5. Is it 2.5? Or has he come down? He's come down to a smaller measurement now. It's not the 2.5 anymore, is it? Smaller measurement. Now we're speeding it up, so you can see, I think we're going to get 6 or 7 around the edge here. It's going to be 7, isn't it? 7 around the edge. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3. No, that looks like 6 to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 7. It's slightly off. It looks like a 6 for a minute,
yeah.
but now you can see it is 7. Yeah, that's a 7 for sure. Okay. Now, carefully lining in between them. Okay, now so far this has taken 4 minutes, but we've sped bits of it up, so you can see we're actually accelerating on in order to save time here, so we can get everything in. Anybody has an idea of what this one could be so far? It's not entirely obvious yet. You may have an idea, but I'm sure that's going to change in a second. What it's important, this is the whole reason behind doing this, and we're very grateful to the Circle Designer and Circle Maker for coming out. They are the same, the Circle Maker is in, as I say, tonight he is doing circle designs which are not necessarily things that are his, or, they're basically, they could be other people's designs. So you have to decide, we're not saying. So you have to make your mind up. We're neither confirming nor denying, I think is the best way to put this. So there's obviously an overlapping of these outer segments, but you've got a very similar type of effect to the one that we had previously, which was like the torus, but it's been adapted. So what we're seeing here is now the kind of spirographic effect, but done with a slightly different feel. We've got a spirograph thing going on here now. So it's a similar sort of effect. You're going round the secondary circle from the centre, 7 points measured, and using those points to be your centre point to actually create the spirographic outer edges.
Isn't one being left out though? Oh, there is.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably, if anything gets left out, it'll probably be realised and then put in. You can start on any order with them, but as long as you make sure you do them. So, okay, it's basically it's got a very visual appeal. It's sort of got a great visual appeal. This type of effect to actually. Work in a spirographic way, but now it's been adapted, it's been expanded upon in this fashion.
It's got quite a sci-fi element to it, hasn't it? Like they could pose all the, like in the Matrix with the Sentinels and things, like.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what have we got in channel then?
Nothing so far.
No.
We stopped at the pencil.
Okay, don't forget, if you want to ask us questions, if you need them read out as a question, put it in capitals, say this one's for Matt or for Agent S, And if you put it in capitals and then type after that. So Dion is saying, I feel like I'm watching Rolf Harris. I'm reading that out because he's put it in capitals. So there we go. And somebody has said something about being filmed at night. Realistic conditions. Well, you never know. Circlemakers TV have definitely been thinking about this potential, but we shall have to see what happens this summer.
Do you know what? I think they're all in awe. Like Roger
Here you
CCC is I'm truly gobsmacked.
We got some
That's why
fans
they're all
here.
quiet.
We got some fans here. Roger CCC says he's truly gobsmacked.
And Dion says, can you guess what it is yet?
Yeah, can you guess what it is? Anybody want to guess in channel? Let us know. Barbary Castle, 2009?
Andy
I
P.
reckon that's Andy P's got it. He's the first person to actually suggest what it might be, and he's got it right. So Andy P, well done.
Is he going to colour it in?
Is he going to colour it in? Well, they do all get coloured in the end section, because what we do, after all of these have been drawn, so you get to see how it's working, and we're on 10 minutes 50 seconds sped up at the moment. We're on about 300%, so that's 3 times the normal speed. Once they're actually finished, it's the finished design is basically uncoloured. There's going to be one later on that's actually coloured in, but most of these are actually uncoloured. So what we do is at the end, we scan the picture in on the computer, so we've used a scanner. Then the scanned image is brought into Photoshop, and we've recorded us using the fill function, which fills in all of these blanks. Now we've sped that up as well, so that you don't have to watch, because some of them, are quite complicated. We'll come to some, more complicated ones than this in a bit, and that then looks filled in once we've done that, and you'll see the comparison shots for all of them. We've seen 2 so far where we actually filled them in, and we're just about to go to that now. So there we are. I think there's about 12 minutes that took. 12 minutes. There you go. And we sped up the fill function of Photoshop here, and boom, 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 boom. That's what it would have looked like if you bothered to fill it in on paper, and that's what appeared in the field. So that's the Circle Designer's representation of what you would have had to have needed to design if you wanted to get that into the field. So let's hit this button and come back to me.
Kerno wants to do one.
Oh. Now, you'll notice I am having a drink, but unlike last week's show, which I must apologise for, last week's show I took some of my beta-blocker antidepressants and some antidepressants. Then I had a drink, and it went a little bit funny. So this week I have pledged that I'm going to not take the antidepressants. I'm just going to have a drink, because doing this show can be a little bit stressful, and you wouldn't believe, as I say, how close to the line we were this week with the show.
Yeah.
Because all of this stuff has been compressed in Premiere, and we had to edit it. And when we actually came to today, which was the final compression, Premiere turned around and said, well, I'm going to take about 11 hours to do that. And that meant that we wouldn't have actually finished compressing until maybe even 11 o'clock tonight. So we had to get very creative on doing this, and there was a lot of hair pulling and shouting. There was a lot of shouting. I threw my slippers at the door. It nearly didn't happen this week, and that would have been terrible, because I was very aware of the fact that last week, having my head a little bit fluttery when I was doing the show, didn't look that good. But at least you get to see what I'm like.
Really
I'm like
yeah.
on a normal, just an average day when I'm, But it doesn't look good for a show. I've got to be professional.
Save it for YouTube, isn't it, in future?
Save it for drugs are bad. Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, I know. Well, what can you do? What can you do if you got a stressed puppy like me that needs to cool down somehow? Otherwise, I talk at 200 miles an hour, and I basically need to calm it down. But anyway, tonight's show is not about me. It is about our wonderful Circle Designer.
We've got a couple of questions there, Matt.
Okay.
Andy P, have you any demonstration showing how an oval is made, or even the swallows?
Even the swallows. Well, I'm not saying whether we've got any ovals yet. We'll have to have a little look in this thing. I don't I don't seem to think there were any ovals done in this, but we could, for a future attempt, actually show how that was done. Now, there is some photographic stuff of me on the net, and I believe there's some video stuff. I think I did something with the R formation, because that was an oval.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And I'm not sure if the video of that is actually on YouTube. If it's not, then I will attempt to get something up there so you can see how an oval is done. But in principle, how I would do it is I would put 2 posts in the field, and then I would string between these 2 posts, I would string a tape up, which is basically, it can go at any angle, and you put a person there, and then you put 2 people holding at the posts, the tape, and then you walk with the tape actually running behind your back. Taut behind your back. These 2 people holding at 2 points here, you have the tape going up and over and down to the second person, and the person up here with the tape running behind their back actually just walks, and it produces a perfect oval. Now, depending on how much tape you run out to the person who's got it running behind their back, and how near or far these points are, so how much tape you allow up, and how far these 2 points are away from each other, depends on what type of shape oval you've got, whether it's a very elongated oval like this, or whether it's a fatter oval like that. And you can vary things to actually affect that. So have a look on the net. I'm sure it'll show you how to do it, but that's the technique I've used. So I believe that Barbary Castle was named as that formation. So well done for
Goat's Boy, wasn't it?
Yeah, Andy P. I think said it was Barbary Castle 2009.
Oh, possibly. Oh, yeah.
Barbary Castle, for those that don't know, is an Iron Age hill fort, and it's near Swindon. So you can kind of see it on the M4 if you know where you're looking. And if you come off at Wootton Bassett turning, which is I think junction 16, or you come off at junction 15, which is Chiseldon on the M4, between junction 15 and 16 on the south side of the motorway, if you look for signs for Barbary Castle, you will find it. It's a very nice place, hill fort, and it has had a lot of crop circles over the years, including things like off the top of my head, I think what's it called? The Tree of Life, which is a magical symbol. It's like a magical symbol that goes up like that, and it has lots of interlocking, arms that go across from points. So have a look at that area for crop circles. And yes, I think we're on to number 4 now. Let's see whether by pressing this button we can get something up on the screen. So
Unix says, can you use a spirograph?
Can I?
Or the toy that the kids use to generate one of these circles.
I think this one doesn't want to start up. I'm going to have to manually push the button. Here we go. There we are. It might do it now. Right, try again. Do it. There you go. And there's the ball of light, which introduces the circle designer, expert circle designer. And no, it's not Michael Glickman. Definitely not Michael Glickman. I don't think Michael Glickman would have a clue how to do these at this speed. Now what you can see here is a page that has been attached to another page. So 2 A4 pages actually sellotaped together, and that's what you can see with that little line. Now the compass has been put down on this join line. Why that's been done is because obviously if you've got 2 pages connected together, you're going to probably have a design here that is going to be quite big on paper. Now there might be a reason for that, and let's see if we can work out what that might be. It's going to be a big design, I would imagine. So we're on normal time, 52, 53, 54 seconds to get this far. Now the reason we're not seeing much happening, you can see the page up in the upper right, is because reference is being made to the measurements that need to be used. So there you go. I actually said, show us what we've got here. Actually, so I'm wasting the Circle Maker's time here, so you have to take this time off. I actually said, show us the show us the paper, and show us that the fold is there. So that's me wasting the Circle designer's time by getting him to do that. So take this time off. You can take probably about 30 seconds off. And yeah, then we've got the measurements being taken off the paper, the notepad. Now the measurements are going to be put into use. So the measurements will be used around the side of this protractor. Is that a protractor? That's a compass. What's that? It's a compass, isn't it? Compass rose. Compass, I think that's called.
I've got a few suggestions coming in chats.
Right. Is this going to be Chiseldon, an Aztec bird, a Julia set? Ooh. Well, it's early moments yet. We haven't really got it, but we can see that we've got 180 degrees. What have we got down here? What measurements have been taken? That was about a 60. I could be wrong on this. I'm just looking at the footage. Right, so we've got measurements being taken here for the angles. So this one's been made up from using angles rather than using distances on the edges of a circle. So you've seen two techniques being displayed now. You've seen one where you draw an inner circle and then you take a measurement on the ruler and you apply it to the edges, and you find your distances that way. Now this circle is obviously been designed with a slightly different approach. These are scribe marks. Notice that there's no pencil in the compass. There's no pencil in the compass. It's being used to scribe onto the paper. Now that's not going to be very easy for you to see, I imagine, in the live stream window. But what the good news is we're going to upload all of these onto YouTube at 100% speed in high definition. So that's going to be a bonus for you. All of you will be able to load, if you wish, to look at these in real time, not sped up, and watch them being done in great detail, high definition on YouTube. That's going to take a little while for me to upload them. I haven't actually got the uploads ready yet. They'll be compressed in the next day or so, and I've got to split them up into chunks because YouTube only allows me to upload 15-minute chunks. So some of these are going to take a little while to do, so there'll be probably a number of segments uploaded onto YouTube.
Well, it'll be ready before next week's show. Would be
hopefully,
a
yes.
safer thing to
It'll
say,
be ready by next week's show, yeah. So, what have we got in this one then? We're on number 4, and we're basically doing something here which needs some scribed-in lines. Now, I'm not going to give away quite why we need these scribed-in lines. They're obviously going to be used for measurement or for alignment or to help this circle designer to work out where he needs to put these points, as you can see. Now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a 6-fold inner. Now the radius normally for a circle like that one you're seeing in pencil there, the radius from the centre to the circumference of that circle will in fact go around the edges naturally 6 times. We've talked about this. It's a weird little figure. 6 is the radius cut across the circumference of the circle. That's the edge of the circle. It naturally goes in. The radius goes in and subdivides it 6 times, which is an interesting point. Now you can see the diameter now being measured, I believe, across. The diameter is being taken as a measurement using the compass with the pen. The pen is being employed this time. So the diameter is obviously twice the radius. So diameter goes all the way from the left-hand side of that pencil circle to the right-hand side of the pencil circle. So that helps you to understand the difference between a radius and a diameter. So look what happens if you take that diameter. Okay, so these are simple measurements. You haven't had to really use a ruler here. Okay, the radius goes to make the inner pencil circle. The diameter goes in to make these outer arcs. Now notice that these outer arcs stop on the almost invisible scored in line. Okay, so the scored line is being used, and there you see the compass being pressed in, the point to make the little pit marks for accuracy. So they're being pressed in there. It's taken 7 minutes so far. We speeded up a little bit, so we're on 7 minutes. Okay. Now then, what measurement are we using here? I think we could be either... I think we're using... That looks like the same. Is that the same? That looks pretty much...
Yeah.
It looks like the diameter's being used again.
Yep.
Diameter's been used a second time. Okay. And it's being used from the end point, which is where that arc came out from the inner, from the first circle, the pencil circle, arced out using the diameter, and then it's using the end of the arc, where the arc stopped where it intersected the scribe line, and I think the diameter is being used again. So what we're doing here, or what we're seeing being done, is using simple measurements and simple principles to actually start to create something that actually looks quite complicated. Now what have we got here? This is altered now. We're using the end of the arc again, using the same measurement, coming out to the scribe line. So it's the same. You're seeing a repetition of the same technique being used to duplicate arcs out that don't go beyond that scribe line. Okay, it's very important to use that scribe line to stop. You see, he's using the scribe line to stop. Okay, and he's putting his points in. So what's going to happen here? Now, anybody got an idea? Okay, an idea of which one this is? You should have it now. Now there's the clue. Now that's very obvious. If you know your stuff, that's starting to become obvious now. Okay, somebody says, is it the one that hit the fence? And that's not a bad... It's not a... You're sort of almost in the right ballpark there. Swim says Stonehenge. You got it, Swim. Well done. You got it. So you can see that this is being replicated out. Same technique, same diameter. The diameter from the inner circle is being used to create all of these. Now those scribe lines, what are those scribe lines for then? What are those scribe lines about? Now somebody has suggested in channel, quite correctly, that laser tape is handy. Well, laser tape, they're using the terminology laser tape, but they've correctly pointed out that this is in fact where a laser would be set up in the centre of the field, and the laser, which can be purchased for about 20 quid from Focus, they actually stand on a tripod, and the tripod holds the laser with a compass. Okay. Somebody is saying... Andy P is saying, oh Matt, what have you done? Laugh Out Loud 2011 will now have 200 plus circles. Yes, well, this is what it's about. The circle designer wants to show people that these things can be easily drawn, and this is how you do it. Yeah. Lasers, somebody's saying Hedged is saying they're £19.99 plus VAT. That's how much a laser costs, and it's a little red laser. Comes with a compass rose, and the compass rose will allow you to take measurements and to point that laser across the field. And of course the laser is where these lines are, all aligned on. So here we are, we have the fill-in now. We're going to the fill-in stage. Okay. Now, there's the design. Do you want to bring that one up on the thing? And there's the original photo. Now, this is why we said you nearly got it right, because look how close those ribbons come to the tumuli at Stonehenge. Look how close they were. Nearly hit it. Two tumuli. So I don't know whether that was accidental or whether that was on purpose. I have kind of been made aware of certain things over the years, but I shouldn't really go discussing them, especially because we're on strict instructions that this is all to be very vague in this respect tonight. This is all very vague, so we're not going to name specifics, whether or not they were linked to these. It's not there, is it? No, that one's not there. Okay, well, we maybe call him up a bit later, yeah. But if anybody has any questions about these, please place them in channel. If you're going to ask us a question in channel, remember, if it's directed for us, you need to put it in capital letters. So type in capitals, Matthew question, and then ask your question, or Agent S question, and we'll try and read that one out. So what you're basically getting with a laser is you set it up in the field, at the centre of the field. So if this is the centre, you set the laser up and you point it, and it has a compass on it, so it has like the protractor has, and the protractor has 0 to 365 degrees, 360 degrees, 365 days in a year, 360 degrees. Yeah. Don't know why that is, but yeah, okay. So you got the dimensions around the edge of the protractor, and then you basically take your laser, and if you align 0 to the first point, then you can actually move out along that point and create these arcs along the point. And every time you cross over the laser, you can see the red dot, and as you cross in front of the laser, you see the laser getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and sometimes you can actually even see the beam. So when you're walking, doing these arcs, you don't need to put posts down where you're standing, because where you are, you basically know that you're arcing out, and as you come to the correct point and you come back in front of the laser again, once you're lined up with the laser, you'll see it like this. You'll actually see the laser, bing, I know I'm in line. And then you stop. And then you walk out along that line, and then you see where you are when you come into the laser again. As you're walking past it, you see the laser go bing in front of you.
It's a spirit level, basically, but
Yeah.
in a different dimension, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a laser here. It's quite a powerful one. I'll probably blow my bloody camera up by doing this. But I mean, basically, this is a laser. Now, at night, you'll see it shining like this. If it's red, you don't want to use a green, because green, everybody will spot you for miles around. But you're shining it basically like this. And then, if you see that, you see this. You see the beam. Can you see the beam? There's the beam. Okay? And you'll see that. And you'll see a red point. And it helps you to line yourself up. And then what you do is you move the laser on from 0 degrees, maybe to 60 degrees, maybe to 120 degrees. And you've got your points to work along those lines out into the distance, out very far. Now, if you're trying to do this with a tape measures blow in the wind and they curve off a little bit. A laser keeps you going for a long distance. Very handy tool. So as you can see, different technique was being used for that design, and the inference was, instead of using measurements around the edge of the circle, it was all about using compass angles. So there's the laser. That's where that comes in. This hasn't been talked about many times over the years. So that was at Stonehenge, and it was skillfully put between these tumuli. Now, whether that's an accident or not, I don't know. It's at a place called Normanton Down, and now you see where lasers come in. So that's great. Let's move quickly on. What's our time doing like? We're at 10 o'clock, so we've got a lot to cover. So we better move on quickly here. So that was number 4. Now where's number 5? Number 5? I'm not seeing that one in my list. We better come back to that. I'm not seeing it. So we'll have to move on, and I'll find out where number 5 is, because it's not in my list for some reason. So let's just have a little look at this one. So we're skipping on to number 6 now. Anybody guesses what this is, let us know in the channel. We shall give you big kudos and mentions. Okay, so rather big circle this time to start it off.
They're looking for a competition. I think they're all very inspired to go and see what they can come up with.
Absolutely. This is the thing. I think what we should do is get somebody to design another crop circle like we did before. We should open it up to because you're seeing the techniques of how to design a crop circle here. Okay, the best competition, I think, is really, let's see if you can use these skills now. You're seeing how it's done. This expert circle maker is showing you how to design crop circles. And if you've just tuned in, we better just tell you that we're not saying that these circles are done by this circle designer, but he's simply trying to represent that these things can be done in a reasonable time. They're not as complicated on paper. When you know what you're doing, when you've had a little bit of practice over the years, these things are not too hard to do. And the equipment you need is so cheap. You can buy a plastic ruler for a quid. You could probably buy a compass and ruler set for about £2 from a cheap shop, and that's it. That's all you need. You need a compass. You probably won't get a protractor. They tend to have to buy those separately. Well, you get half protractors. You get the semicircular half protractors, don't you? And you can probably buy a full protractor if you want one for a couple of quid. So for a couple of pounds and some paper, you could get yourself designing these crop circles and get yourself active and start to work out whether or not you think by doing this you could get out there in the fields and do this, whether it would be potentially possible for you to do it. Now, the tools you're using, a ruler, is what represents a tape measure. Okay, so a tape measure, which you'd buy from Focus, they can cost about £10. They've got a little handle on the side, and you wind them up there. The long type tape measures, not a builder's tape measure. You're talking about a surveyor's tape measure, they're called. Now, those things have probably got about 30 metres, I think, is the standard size, which is 100 feet. And you get yourself one of those, and you could then, with one or two, if you join them together, you've got 200 feet. So you've got 200-foot radius. You could be creating a 400-foot diameter circle, which is monstrous. So you could be creating stuff like that with just 2 tape measures costing up to 20 quid, maybe a laser level costing 19 quid. So there's 40 quid's worth of stuff. Your stomper boards are going to cost you a couple of quid. Maybe you've got some wood lying around. You could even do what we've done in the past and pull a pallet apart, a wooden pallet. They're usually a metre across, which we've discussed, metre-size pallet boards, and a little bit of rope. Try and keep the whole thing as light as possible so that it doesn't tire you out, using it as a stomper board in the night. And then you've got your wellies, because you probably don't want to get your shoes all covered in gunge off the crop and muddied up. And basically, that's your kit. You just need your design. You need your feet. You need to be fairly fit if you're going to do something big, or if you're not so fit, you can do something small. Stick something out there that's maybe about 100 foot in size. Now, of course, we have to say we're not condoning illegal acts, because it is illegal if you don't get permission of the farmer to make a crop circle. But of course, if you're doing it all legally, there's no problem for you to be practicing with this stuff. So
this guest that's the one that's come earlier, was he the guy on Country File? And is Bill Bailey still active?
We cannot discuss who this person is. They wish to remain anonymous, but they are a circle maker. They have made circles in the past, and I would say probably a very good circle maker, but they wish to remain anonymous in terms of which circles they have done, and they're not trying to connect these circles in any way to them being a circle maker. They're simply trying to represent that these can be done. Any ideas on what this might be? Any ideas? You should be getting it now. Okay. There's good clues there.
Oh, you gave it away there, Matt.
What?
Dion
What have I said
Barbary
that's wrong?
Castle? I'm not sure.
Barbary Castle?
That was his earlier guess, but then he
Right.
said you've given it away, Matt.
I haven't given this away. I haven't said which one it is.
Explain what you mean, Dion. Oh, so Bill, then Dion.
Bill. What did he say?
Oh, hang on.
About
The Hidden Cubes one.
Oh, the hidden cubes, right. Not quite, I don't think so. No. Hidden cubes. Unless you're interpreting this one in a way that I'm not. Okay, so we're at 7 minutes now. Sped up a little bit. 7 minutes of footage. So we'll try and work out what the final time on this one is. So if anybody wants to make a note of that, if they catch it just before it finishes.
Apparently you linked the designer to that person.
I linked the designer to the person. I didn't mean.
Dion's
I don't think I meant to. Have I said something wrong?
I don't know. I've missed it completely.
I'm not. I'm not aware of what I'm trying. What I've tried to say all night, and what I will state again is that the circle designer that is doing these designs is not trying to infer that they created these circles. Okay, so you would have to make your own mind up as to whether you think they are in any way or not connected with these circles. We're not going to make any statements, and neither is the circle designer. So we've got to make that clear. If I've given you reason by word semantics, that I'm not suggesting that. I'm not trying to hint it. So
they're reading all sorts. Apparently, Unix is saying he's got a flame T-shirt like Matt. So I don't know. I thought I did see some orange there.
Has he got a flame T-shirt on?
Hang on. Seeing that little.
I think
occasionally
you
you see a bit of orange.
No. I tell you what that is. It's one of my red satin pillows off the bed.
Oh, off the bed, yeah.
And that's being used as a support for the table, the little wooden thing that the circle designer has got his board. So on top of, and then on top of that you've got the magazine. So in that order you've got legs, silk pillow or satin pillow, then you've got the wooden board, and then you've got the magazine. So you're seeing a little bit of the red bit of that, I think. I don't remember a red T-shirt being used, but
it's probably the satin.
Right, somebody is saying, is this Avebury June of 08? Nope, that was Goat Boy. No, it's not. But Dion, I think, is very, very close now. He says it's the Gears one. Do you remember where that is, though? The Gears one. If you can name it, that would be great. Okay. Now you can see lots of little grape shot being put in now. Can you see what's being used to do it? It's because they're so small and so intricate. A plastic circle sort of guide is being used, and it's a template, a stencil. That's the word I'm looking for. Stencil, and it allows you to do these small circles at speed to set measurements. So it just basically speeds it up for you, and it's very hard to use a compass when it's this small. So there we go. We've got 18 minutes 45. 18 minute. Right, we've got yes, it's the Ridgeway, June 2008. Somebody got it just before we had the title up there, so well done. So that looks a little bit squished, I think. Somehow that's come out a bit squished. Don't quite know what's happened there.
Rushed the edit, perhaps.
The edit program has gone a bit weird on us there, so it's a bit squished. It isn't meant to be like that, but here you see it being filled in. So that design took 18 minutes to create by real-time standards if we hadn't sped it up. So well done, Dion. Yeah, you got that. The Ridgeway near Avebury 2008. And it was close to the Sanctuary. There you can see the original design. So well done. And it was beneath... sorry, not beneath. It was between East Kennet and Avebury. And the internal element has been drawn. I'm not sure if that was actually as complete as the original. Have we got the pictures? I haven't sent the pictures across, have I? I've just sent the I've just sent you across the designs, the scans. I haven't sent you the pictures across, have I?
No, just
and have you only got 3 in there? There's only 3 in that folder.
No, there's about 6.
Right. I tell you what. There's 6 in there. I'll send you some more across in a second. So how are we doing on time? Right.
3, 6, 9, 12 there is actually.
Right. 22:09. This is 10 o'clock now, so we've got 1 hour. And we've got a lot to get through. I think we should just stop using my head as something to look at and go straight on. Now, I still haven't found, because I'm talking a lot, I haven't found number 5. So we're going to go on to a little bit of a lesson thing here. Now, I have to read this out to you and try and explain the way that the Circle Maker is operating in his design mode, because he uses a thing called TRIGONOMETRY, which says trigonometry. And if any of you remember this, it was that horrible thing you had to do in school and didn't make any sense, and you thought, I'll never end up using this in the real world. This is complete bullshit, and why the hell are they making us do this? It's this thing that we all hated. But trigonometry is a method which this circle designer likes to use in order to find out the distances that need to be measured out on a circle. So if you want to find out how to find the distance between the line that you're drawing, say you've got a 5-pointed star there, and you want to find out if you've subdivided it by 5, you use the angle, I believe there, that angle, let me just look, and you use this stuff. Now, I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to try and explain this to you properly, because you've got things like the hypotenuse, the opposite side, the adjacent side, and you've got the angle, and you've got the circumference, and you've got 5 points, and you can subdivide it, and you can use mathematics basically to help you to find these measurements. Now, so this is an example of how circle designers would use the mathematics. You divide a ring into the segments. The ring radius plus the degree of the angle are used to ascertain the straight line distance between the points. Okay, and there you can see part of the calculations they're using. So sine times, I missed it now. Hypotenuse by times the sine of the degree equals the opposite side. So the opposite, which I believe is the whole length of that, not just the half length of the triangle that you can see on the top side. I think they're referring to the whole length, but don't quote me on that. So it's the line distance between the points, and in the field a surveyor's tape measure could be pulled across the crop, obviously, and then held at the predetermined distance. So what we've got there is the measurements would be 10 times, I think that's 36 degrees, or is it sine 36? So 36 degrees times sine. So if you're using a calculator, like a scientific calculator, you've got functions for sine, cosine, tangent, and you can use the sine function, if you know how your calculator works, And it's worth looking into this if you're actually interested in working out these figures. And it gives you that top smallest side. I think it's the opposite side of the triangle there. So if you times 10 by 36 sine equals 5.88. So I think if the hypotenuse is the 10, is the from the centre of the circle right to the edge, that's the radius, is the hypotenuse there in that triangle. The radius going from the centre to the edge is the hypotenuse, so that's 10. 36 degrees is the angle of the arc, times by sine, so you press the sine button on your calculator, and it gives you 5.88, which is the opposite side of that triangle. Okay, so don't quote me on this, I could be completely wrong in the way I'm interpreting this. So points 1 to 2 is 11.76 feet. So 11.76 divided by 2, is that 5.88? It would be, wouldn't it? 5.88 divided by 2 would be the opposite side. Is that right? 5.88? Yeah. Whatever. I'm talking out my arse here because I hated maths, and I only got my GCSE in it, and I was very happy to dispense with it after that. So there you go. So point 1 to 2 is definitely 11.76 feet. So I would imagine if you halve that by 2, you'd be ending up with the... I think that would probably be your opposite side, which is 5.88. Yeah, that sounds right. It is half, isn't it? Yeah, it looks right. So you can see now that if you have that 11.76 measurement, and you go around the sides by 11.6, you end up with the 5-sided pentagon. So that was how that was used. So, what do you think of that then? Interesting stuff. Now, I'm going to try and shut my gob and look for this number 5 piece of footage. We've done the Ridgeway, which was number 6, and we're going to go on to number 8 now, because that was footage number 7, which was a trigonometry lesson. So we're going to go on to number 8. Now, if anybody can guess what this is, tell us in channel. And don't forget, we should let you know that you can Skype the show. You can actually Skype in and speak to us if you wish, and we will take your questions live on air. And Circlemakers TV is our contact. And if you want to go in the live stream chat window, scroll down in your live stream window, and it blacked out for a second then. And don't forget that if you want to get information on the show, you can go to www.circlemakers.tv.org. So I don't know what's happening there. It's going black. It's going black. Is it not happy? It blacked out a few times then. That was weird.
Yeah.
I have to keep an eye on that. I hope I don't have to restart this piece of footage. But anyway, it looks good at the moment. It hasn't done it. Maybe it didn't like me doing the titles on top. It was having a bit of a moan there. So, large circle again. So, taking the measurements, as you can see. Now, quite a large measurement this time. We're on 6 point... 6 point is near the end, isn't it? 6.8, 6.9. If he moves his finger, we can see. But there we are. Ooh, it looks about 6.9, I'd reckon that to be. 6.9. And we're making measurements around the edge of this. Obviously pressing down the compass point to create nice holes that you can come back to later on. Working your way around the edge from your marks you've made. Pressing them down, getting your points in, indentations. And if you've got it right, then they should join up. And there you can see whether they've joined up. Looks pretty good. Seem to join up quite well, which means you've got your points and your measurements correct. So how many points do we have around the edge then? I wasn't counting.
I was looking at the comment there from Tectonic. You're being jammed by the Men in Black.
Somebody said that every time I pressed my titles, it restarted the movie. So yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah. So yeah. No more titles. We'll leave those alone. So we're on about 1 minute 33, running at real-time speed. And let's see whether we can find this 5. I have to be very careful what I do here. So excuse me, I'm not going to speak to you for a second. Okay. Just make sure I don't do anything which is going to reset the computer here. I think I found it. We got it. Don't like playing with these things when the video's playing, but needs must. Yeah, do you want to send that one over?
I'm not sure which one it is.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'm seeing some sort of pentagram being designed now. Alright, okay, I think that's ready to line up, so we'll be having number 5 next after this one. I'm seeing a pentagram. We're on 4 minutes 13. Looks like we're running at about 3 times speed, so 300% speed. And here's a subdivision technique. So, similar to what we saw in the trigonometry lesson just a minute ago, the edge of the 5-point line is being subdivided in 2. So it's a half measurement. You can take the measurement yourself with a ruler and you can divide it by 2, but you can also use the technique that we saw a minute ago using the trigonometry to actually work out the distances that you need to subdivide the circle by. So that's another method you can use. Okay, so we've got a subdivision line, and you can see that that's being used to create outside the circle points now. So you've got a pentagram on the inside. The subdivision lines on the outside are allowing you to create a second pentagram out of the first pentagram. So you're basically repeating, almost like I suppose you could call it like a fractalized repetition, or there's probably a better term for it, but it's duplicating the pentagram on the outside by a scaled measurement. And they probably, if you know much about mathematics, there's probably some sacred geometry being employed in the way that the circle intersects, and it's just a natural intersection that you can see going on here. So it's probably got some sacred geometry going with it. Now we're on 8 minutes 30 now that the Circle Maker's up to. Anybody got an idea which circle this one is? Right, Dion has said Oliver's Castle. Now this is, which footage is this? This is number 5. No, that's not number 5. Sorry, we're on number 8. 8. Right. We're on number 8. Okay. Now this is obviously giving you an idea. Oh, somebody's... you're not far off. It's not Oliver's Castle for sure, okay? This is not Oliver's Castle. And somebody was suggesting that it was the one with the glowing spheres. It's not that one. But somebody else has said Avebury 03. Now, I'm not sure of the year. But is it Avebury? It's not far from Avebury. Green Street, Avebury. Not quite what I've got down here, but you're not a million miles away. So, okay. No, somebody's saying that is it one where you add the crescents? Ooh, is it so somebody's saying yes, it's 2003. So they seem pretty convinced this is 2003. I'm not too sure about that. But anyway, you can see now you've basically built up a pentagram on the outside, a pentagram on the inside, and you've also got pentagons on the outer bits and pentagrams inset on the inside. So it's flipping between pentagrams set within each other at naturally sort of occurring. There we are, Beckhampton.
Swim got that.
Oh, Swim got it. Yes, you just got it before the titles came up. I'll give you that. You got that one, Swim. Well done. Just before the titles came up. There's the filling action done in Photoshop. Now, see the ring? There's a ring here that we're actually representing. Now, the circle that appeared didn't have that bit on the outside. That wasn't, so you can see that we were actually fading it in and out now, so you can see that if you use the ring, but you don't bother to use the outer measurement, the outer measurement has just been shown here just to illustrate what was going on, but it didn't have to be created like that in the field, okay? So it was just done for a little bit of extra effect. So the border shape was basically there to demonstrate how you could do it without having to create the design outside the circle, okay? So the border shape was just there to show how to construct a non-circular perimeter. If you wanted to do something that was outside a ring, so if you didn't want to use just a ring to encompass your circle, you wanted to do something outside a ring, yes, then that's how you could do it. So well done. That was Beckhampton. On we go very quickly. We've got no time to mess around tonight. We need to do number 5. So we're going backwards in time now to one that should have been shown earlier on, but I seem to forget putting it on the computer. Chat in channel and tell us which one you think this is. There's our little balls of light introducing the expert circle designer. Do you think you could identify this circle designer by the features we can see? I mean, what have we got there? We've got some nails.
Well, you won't forget the shirt, will you?
Yeah, let's maybe look out for somebody wearing a shirt like that. You never know, you could get lucky. Just wander into Morrison's in Devizes. If you see somebody wearing one of those shirts, punch them, and then you'll find out it wasn't the circle maker. So there you go. And
very clean hands.
Ah, there you are, clean hands. Look, there's I can see are they called a black man's pinch or a pinch? A pinch. Is that politically correct? Are you allowed to say black man's pinch these days on a fingernail? Now, I can guarantee you won't be able to identify this circle designer, circle maker by that pinch on his finger, because it's actually grown out now, and it's nearly at the tip, so it's almost invisible. So you won't be able to use that as ammunition to find out who this is. But
piano fingers.
Piano fingers. Oh right, okay. I'm not sure if I don't think he plays any instruments, or is it maybe they're just saying they look very long? Maybe is that a description of piano fingers? And a blister. Is there a blister?
Piano fingers are usually feminine, aren't they?
Ooh. Are we looking at a woman here? Nah, I don't think that looks like a feminine hand. It's got hairs. It's got hairs on the hand. Hairs, hairy hands.
That's what I said in chat earlier. Maybe he's a she.
Maybe a he/she.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is we're not gonna say. So there's a few hairs there. So I'm going for a man myself. But that's the most clues you're going to get off me tonight. So
well, it doesn't look like a mechanic.
Yeah, and there's no oil stains
Yeah.
on that hand or hands. There we go. What age would people guess? I mean, again, I'm not going to give any clues here, but I mean, what age would you say the person is with these hands? Are we talking about a 20-year-old? Probably not a 15-year-old. 20,
what makes me
30?
think older than 20 is the shirt.
Right.
I don't think you'd see a 20-year-old wearing a shirt of that colour.
Somebody in channel has said a 38-year-old. So that was Dion reckons a 38-year-old. Well, interesting guesses we got going on here. So we have the scribe marks being used again. So this could potentially be one that you would use a laser for, because you've got these laser straight lines that you'd be using with a laser compass. So potentially, and we're seeing that arc technique being used again. He's using the diameter and going out. Have we had this one before? No, 5. No, we haven't had 5. God, it looks similar. It looks so similar to the one we had earlier on. You could almost think they're the same thing. So you can see, what are we going to have with this one? Are we going to have the same design as we had earlier on?
But it's like numbers, isn't it? Mathematics is uniform. So
Yes.
you get your 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah.
Shapes are the same.
Yeah. So we've got something that looks so similar to the Stonehenge one we had with the ribbons. Remember, that started off like this, didn't it? Stonehenge ribbon started off like this.
Roger CCC says they are not the hands of a circle maker. It's an artist.
Ah, so Roger reckons that this circle maker is just an artist and not necessarily, maybe put some hand cream on when he goes to make some circles.
But is that saying that circle makers aren't artists then?
Well, it's an interesting point. Yeah. And Dion says in capital letters, so I shall shout it out. He says, "Wrong, Roger." Okay, so Dion reckons you're wrong, Roger.
Hackpen Hill. Milk Hill.
Somebody... right. Well, hang on. I think we may have a winner there. Somebody's saying Milk Hill. Right. Somebody said Hackpen Hill. Any guesses? Well, we'll tell you. it is Hackpen Hill. Goat Boy got it right again. Now, Goat Boy's doing quite well tonight. He's had a couple, hasn't he?
Yeah.
How many has he had? 2 or 3 right?
Yeah.
He's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
So, if it was a competition to see how many you get right and who wins the design by how you get right, you'd have Goat Boy in the lead so far. But we're going to do it as a different competition entry. And as we said, if you can do a design based on what you've seen, your skill effort tonight, your efforts from looking at these skills, using some of these skills you've picked up tonight, design something, send it in. We'll get the circle artist to judge which one he likes, and the circle designer, artist, come circle maker, will decide who wins a design. And you get to pick which one of these designs you're seeing being made tonight, and you can have the original. Now, trust me, these should be worth money. These should be worth a lot of money. You are basically talking about something you don't see very often. A circle maker come circle artist giving away an actual piece of design work that they've done. Now, that, as we say, we're not saying that they designed the circle, but certainly to see a circle maker give away a design like this is very, very unique. Now,
Blueprints.
Yeah.
Says Hedgestred.
Yeah. But nothing that could incriminate, you see, because there's nothing to say that this circle designer made these circles, but you never know. You never know. You might just have something from a master artist come circle maker that actually did do them. You never know. You never know. We're not saying...
Tectonic is asking, I wonder if it's the master.
Well, that's what we can't say. We're not saying who this is and what skill level they're at, but I will say definitely a skill level above mine. Definitely a skill level above mine. So me. So
what year was this?
Right, what year was this? Well, you've got to guess that. So anybody got an idea? You should have an idea by now what you're seeing. So we've got the replication of arcs out from the centre, but we've deviated. It's not like the Stonehenge now. We've got more replications like a spirograph, but a spirograph that stops and intersects at different points. It doesn't allow it to go right through like the spirograph, the Taurus one was earlier on. It's actually stopping at set measurements, which were helped along by the score lines, so they were used to help. And now we've got a very different, it's more like a vortex effect, isn't it, this one? So, Goat Boy, Mastermind Champion 2011, says Tectonic.
They're saying that, like, this is the mastermind topic, crop circles.
It's a very good one, isn't it? Yeah, we got to, do you know your crop circles,
This is a bit of an optical illusion, this one, because I keep seeing bends in the circles. Like, I can't see proper circles. Like, it's... my mind has got a job to keep up with what this person is doing and where they're going.
Yes.
Very complicated.
Now, by this point, you might have seen that this is not quite the original design. Okay, so this is an advanced design which has been done to show you what you could do if you went a little bit further than the original. Okay, so there's it basically an extra 180 degree set of arcs has been added on the outside, which makes this a little bit more complicated than the original. So that's just to let you know. Okay, have we got anybody? No, there's no guesses yet. Right, we're up to 17 minutes now. 17 minutes. It looks like it might be finishing soon because you're going to have to get it in if you think. Nowadays, that Hackpen Heart farmer mows them out, doesn't he? Ah, you got it just in time. Crossbone, you got it. Hackpen Hill, July 1999. Oh, why did they squish up? That is so weird. They didn't do that when we output them earlier on. They're being very weird. Premiere, I'm going to slap you. So they're not oval. Don't know why that's gone like that, but there we are. It won't happen in the HD one. There we are. There you go. Hackpen Hill. Now you can see the original one was a little bit less complicated. The Circle Designers one adds an extra set of rings on the outer bit, which makes it just that bit more complicated. So there you go. You want to make a Hackpen Hill? There you have it. Designed in 18 minutes. More complicated than the original. 18 minutes on paper, right? More complicated than the original one. So, skipping quickly on, We did 8, so we must be on to
Number
9.
9, yeah.
Number 9. So, where's the button for number 9? There's the number. I'm just going to press it. There you go. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to press the button, and yes. Can you see multiple sheets stuck together? Okay, there you go. Multiple sheets. So the circle designer is just showing you. You can see a little bit of a t-shirt up there underneath the red thing. You can just about see a little bit of t-shirt up there, but not enough to give anything away. But he's just showing you that you're working in a very large piece of paper here. So what do you think? Is it going to be a large design? Is it going to be a complicated design because it's so large? What do you think? We'll have to see.
Is it Lucy Pringle?
Copyright Lucy Pringle. Absolutely. How did you know? Right. So, yeah, Crossbone, well done for that last one, getting the hack pen just in time.
It was actually Goat Boy that got it first. We missed
Oh, sorry. Goat Boy got it first.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well done, Goat Boy. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Goat Boy's had a few, hasn't he?
Goat Boy's really storming along on these, actually. He's doing really well. So, Roger CCC says, does LP have hairy arms? Lucy Pringle. No, it's definitely not Lucy Pringle. In fact, I'd like to see this circle designer pitted up against some of the circle's researchers to see who can actually design these things quicker and better. That'd be an interesting challenge. I wonder whether that would happen one day. Now, you've got very large arcs coming here. Can you see that the compass has been put out quite a distance there? Quite a distance, and it's doing some large arcs. Now, how many points have we got on this inner circle that was created? I haven't been counting, but I'm thinking 6 here. I'm thinking it's probably a 6. And we've got these 6 points which are being used to do very large arcs. Yeah. Hedge Dread says, bet Lucy Pringle's got hairy palms. Get out there and check it out. Send us the results to CirclemakersTV.org.
They're saying that these hands are very feminine. Although they are, I think it's quite common among artistic or creative people. I've seen a lot of hands like that on artistic people.
Well, I'll show you mine in a minute so you can see that it's definitely
Yours
not
are
me.
Anything but... is that the right phrase?
I'm a monkey.
Yeah.
And definitely, there's giveaways that it's not me that we're looking at doing these designs. It's definitely not me. I can show you. I can prove it. I can prove it on a matchbox, as Bill Hicks would have said. I can prove it on a fucking Etch-a-Sketch. It ain't me.
Is it Milk Hill 2001?
Ooh. You're very close.
It's Goat Boy again.
Goat Boy. Goat Boy says Milk Hill 2001. Do you know what? He's pretty damn close. He's pretty damn close. In fact, he's so close. I'd have to say he was in the same field and on the same year.
Hang on. Are we sure that Goat Boy isn't actually playing in the footage as we speak? Is Goat Boy?
I don't know who Goat Boy is.
Who is Goat Boy? He seems to know a lot.
Anybody know Goat Boy? Who's Goat Boy? I don't know who Goat Boy is. Does anybody know this Goat Boy?
Reveal yourself.
Reveal yourself. You know what these circles are. Goodness, he's doing so well. But
yeah.
didn't he get one wrong? He must have got one wrong.
Has a Goat Boy got one wrong yet?
Yeah. You can't get that Goat Boy, not on a single circle. Ah, but it's a single circle, but it's a six around the edges. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe he worked out because I said it is a big one, isn't it? Because it's a big setup. It's a big paper. I mean, if you know what you're doing and you can work out where those arcs are, you know.
Well, this is obviously somebody that works very closely with, or how do you say, studies them a lot.
Dion's not convinced. He's not sure. Yeah, Longwood Warren, says Dion. Well, yeah, I've kind of said he's right because, I mean, at the end of the day, he got it right. So, I mean, what I'll do on the next one, if you get it right, I won't say you're right until halfway through the circle, okay?
Oh.
Okay, but he got it so well. He got it so well. He did it really
Credit
well.
where credit's due.
So yeah, I mean, this is in fact, now we can talk about it a bit more. So we told you which one it is. This design obviously blew people's minds in the field when it was created. You know, this was an enormous design, lots and lots of detail, a lot of work that would have been involved. Now again, we're not stating that the circle designer that's making this design here was involved. We're not saying they are. We're not saying they're not. You make your mind up. But what I will say is you're seeing the designer here putting the detail in on what everybody said was a phenomenally complicated crop circle. Now, within 10 minutes, and actually there's been some time wasted here because of chatting and showing you the paper and things like that, showing you that it's 4 sheets of paper. So maybe you take a minute off for that. So we're talking about 9 minutes, and we'd got to the point where I'd said, and look now, we're actually penciling in the arcs so you can see quite clearly all these sections that the replicating circles which descend in size would go on. Okay, so they're going to descend in size. You've got the main circles, you've got the center circle, and you've got the outer circles, and I believe they're the same measurement. Now, measurements is an interesting thing, because what people might want to do with this after the show is they may want to look at these designs and they may want to compare them to the original circles. So what we're going to do is we're going to upload the scans, high resolution scans, onto CircleMakers TV. Now, we haven't put them there yet because obviously it would give away what the show was tonight, but we are going to put the scans up onto the CirclemakersTV.org website. You'll find them in the photos section, and download these pictures, compare them with the designs, and you decide how accurate they are. Okay, and you see then quite how simply you could make this design, which could then be put out into the field. So we've got the inner radius and the outer circles. I think they look the same size. I could be wrong, but the inner radius circle and the outer radius circles, I think they're the same size. But now, see the stencil being used again. The stencil has got a set measurement, and it's actually going down, stepping it down to certain sizes on the stencil. So it's coming down slowly from size to size to size on the stencil. So this technique being used here to speed things up, and will probably come into use a lot in a minute when you're going down to very small circles. So okay, so there's set distances which are being used here on this stencil, and you're replicating them out. The person is replicating them out using the same technique on all the arms, working their way down through the sizes on the stencil and working their way into the middle. Okay, Crossbone says he's never seen one of those stencils before. Yeah, actually they're commonly available. If you go to an art shop or a technical drawing shop or something like that, you can probably find them in what's the name of that shop? Staples. Staples would have one. Staples will have this sort of stuff, and yeah, they're not very.
W.H. Smith will have that.
You know what? You can get them with ovals. Actually, you can get them with special shapes. You can get them with different shapes, different numbers of shapes.
Hexagons, pentagons,
hexagons, pentagons, ovals, different shape, size ovals, and it really makes it easy for you to do certain types of replicated design. Now, every once in a while, you might see the circle designer's head come into shot, and we've actually mosaicked the head out of the shot. So if you see the mosaic, that's us getting rid of the head there. So now we're down in size. You can see these tiny little circles being done now. Now, a lot of people see these as being like the fractal effect. The fractal effect of the iterations, I suppose you call them, don't you? Iterations. That something goes from one size down to another size, down to a small size, and they almost look like copies going down in size, and that's what gives the fractal effect. So they're going down to tiny little sizes, tiny little circles now, and starting to spiral them in. And these spirals that I believe that were there in the Milk Hill Formation, they weren't exactly accurate. The arcs were accurate. The big circles were accurate. But once you got into these iterations, the fractal bits, they weren't necessarily all straight or arced properly. There were variations and differences, and there were actually variations. I believe there were some variations in the big circles as well. To make them meet, they didn't actually have the same size, so they were varying them. Now, working on such a large scale, if a team was working to create something like the Milk Hill formation, they may have just, through tolerance errors, through creating such large circles, actually get slight tolerance errors and then not be able to fit maybe the last circles in. So they've actually varied probably the last few circles, the last couple of circles going back to touch the next arc. So those are going to be different in size. Now, I think also, this is just from the top of my head from memory, I remember studying the Milk Hill circle after I saw it, and I did think to myself, this is bloody impressive, but these circles are not all the same size. They're actually, some of them are slightly bigger and smaller than the ones in other arcs. So I remember thinking to myself, I wonder, this is just me thinking now, I'm not saying this is what happened, just me thinking, I wonder if whoever created this was actually using different teams, different people in the different arcs, because there was so much work to do. They were sending people off to do different bits at different times, and maybe their tolerances between different team members might have allowed for these circles to be slightly different sizes. Now, that's just my guesswork there. I'm not making a statement. It's just my guesswork involved. And certainly the fractals, they actually arc out at different angles. So there's something to be looked at there. If you want to study this design, have a look and see what you think. Now, we're on 25 minutes now. Obviously, some of this has been sped up. You can see the hands moving very quickly there. So we're working on 300%. And we're working on the fractals. They're coming out. Now, protractor being used for the very small circles to replicate it. You had a little bit of the head came in there then. Did you see the head? Mosaicked out at the top of the screen. Yeah. What have we got in channel? Anything?
Yeah, they're saying watching the design and making it is a whole different ball game. But then I guess if you had more than 2 pairs of hands working on that design, it would be done in 10 minutes instead of 30 kind of thing,
If you could get 2 people to work on the same page doing the design, I mean, that's probably not an easy thing to do, getting 2 people to work on the same page. But, yeah, you could do. What's important here is, though, that looking at how long it's taken so far to create all of these fractal bits and the main parts of this circle, this designer has managed to bang out 2 arms with this many fractals in, so far, we're on 29 minutes now, and you can see how much has been achieved in 29 minutes. Now, this is going to be a circle when you see the finished article that we're going to estimate up. We're going to estimate up how long it would take to do the whole design, and then you're going to have to use your own imagination as to how long it would take to create in a field. Now, I've guessed. Now, this is a guess. It's not the actual facts, okay? It's a guess. It's my own guess. I've guessed that this would probably take a team of about 19 people the whole night to do. Yeah. Now, I know that other people have suggested to me that there were possibly more, and I know that other people have suggested less people would be required to make this design. There it is. We're actually having a little pan around now. It's probably on about 30-odd minutes there to do that. So this was Milk Hill. It was indeed Milk Hill. It was near Stanton St. Bernard. Now, we've only got 2 arms. One arm has got the fractals on it. Okay, so that was August 2001, Milk Hill. One has all the fractals on it. Now, here's the scan into the computer. Now, this one doesn't look squished. It doesn't look squished. Now, you can't see it very well, so what I've done is in Photoshop, because we've got such small pen lines here, watch what I've done in Photoshop, and what I've done is I've gone in and created a darker picture. I've used the brightness settings functions, okay, and I've actually darkened it down. You'll see this in a second. So if you scan something into Photoshop and you put the brightness down like that, contrast up, brightness down, look what it does, yeah? Straight away, now you've got very thick lines that can be seen. Now I'm zooming in on Photoshop. Now in Photoshop, we've actually replicated all 6 parts of the circle there now from the one arm. So we've taken one arm and we've spun it out and we've replicated all the other bits. Okay, now so for that design to be created, it would have taken that designer, if he'd done all the arms, it would have taken approximately 1 hour 30 minutes. Now you can see me speeding through at high speed, filling in all the fractals now. Now that's me doing that on Photoshop with the fill function. So it's called a bucket fill function on Photoshop. And we sped this up quite a lot so you can see how it would be drawn in if you wanted to make it look like the original design that appeared in a milk hill. I think I missed one then. No, I filled it in afterwards. I caught it. So working from the bigger inner circles out to the edges. Notice that's how you'd work. You'd fill them from the centre bits going out to the edges. Okay? And then you've got that design, and let's have a look at what it looked like in the field. So spinning towards us, that's what it looked like in the field. Now you can make your own mind up. Does it look the same? Does it look very similar? I think that looks very, very similar myself. I think that looks pretty damn...
K-hole. Oh, no.
Oh. K-hole, oh, no.
Yeah. So I think you've just burst somebody's bubble.
Oh, dear. I don't know what that means. K-hole. Right, okay. Right, Milk Hill. So basically, 6 hours of darkness window in mid-August, yeah? That's when that formation appeared. You'd have a 6-hour window of darkness because earlier on in the year, you have shorter nights. But towards August, when you're coming at that part of the year, you've got at least a 6-hour window. Now, we've talked about fog, possibly giving you extra time to work in the morning. But, you've got a good amount of time there, up to you to decide how many people would be working on that. And the field that it appeared in, just as an interesting point, is the highest point in Wiltshire. So Milk Hill, highest point in Wiltshire, nobody could see into that field to see people doing their work if they did it. If they did it, okay? Nobody can see you. You'd have to be in a helicopter, basically, to look down into that field to spot people working if they were there, okay? So moving quickly on, because we're on just about 10 minutes till 11 o'clock, so we're going to run over a little bit on this show, but I'm sure you're enjoying it. It's it's definitely a different one. Oh, look, we got Agent S there. Say hello.
Hello. Sorry, hello.
Hello, yes, that's right.
Brain wouldn't connect then.
So, bang myself with the mic. Normally it moves away from me. Tonight it wants to move towards me. It's a magnetic bloody mic. But, right, that was number 10, I believe. 10. No, it wasn't. It was number 9, wasn't it? Number 9. Now we're on number 10. So this one, just go straight in. We don't have the little effect. I don't know what happened here, but the little effect didn't go. Oh my God! No! No! Bastard!
What have you done?
Bastard!
What
Bastard!
have you done?
Bastard! Bastard! It cocked up! It cocked up! No! What happened there? Right, I can restart that then. Hang on, let me... Oh,
Matthew
Williams. Right. Right, there wasn't a button pressed, look. It didn't get pressed. Fucker. Okay. No, start again.
No.
Start again. It won't restart. No, it is started.
Oh.
No, that's restarted. Balls. Balls.
It's forgivable.
Oh God, I'm going to get my arse kicked for that. I know.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I was told if I'm going to cock this up, then don't do it at all. That's what I was told.
That's not a cock up, is it? Come on.
Oh no, I'm going to get my head.
Glitch.
I'm going to get my arse kicked now.
It's fine.
Okay. Well, can anyone guess what that one was? Can you guess what that? You never know. No, they might not know. They might not know what that one was, but do you know what? You had a bloody big clue. You had a bloody big clue there.
I was going to say, Matt, if you do run a competition, I'm happy to put the chosen design on a T-shirt.
Excellent. There you go. You can also have your winning design for the crop circle competition. Get designing and send in to CirclemakersTV.org. The address will be on the website, so go to CirclemakersTV.org, look for our address, send us in your design, which you can now do because you've been watching the expert circle designer showing his skills, using his protractor here again to measure out distances around the edge. So subdividing the circle using degrees rather than measurements, i.e. using angles with degrees rather than measurements. And this is often a technique that you can use if you want to use a laser, as we discussed earlier on, laser compass. So, has anybody guessed it yet? Somebody sent a link. Somebody sent a link.
Am I chasing up that?
Can we win? Can we win an iPoo?
No, Unix said, "Can we win an iPod?"
Oh, yeah.
So I said iPoo.
That was me. That was you typed that in, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
It's come through as me because that's me
Yeah,
that is in
no,
the channel.
they know you're not typing.
I'm not typing, no. That's Agent S
Yes.
is doing the typing. So she says that it's an iPoo, and I would agree. iPads are iPoo. 800 quid for a frigging device that hasn't even got a proper web browser
No,
on it.
I'll send you an iPoo.
You send it an iPoo, okay.
Yeah, a mypoo.
An iPoo, okay. Is it like a Pokemon or something?
No, it's
An
my poo.
iPoo.
my poo.
You'll send him your poo.
Yeah,
Okay.
an iPod. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, but
This isn't GMTV where they cash in all your money, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
And then give a non-existent iPod away.
Yeah. I hope all these others are not going to actually fire up now. I'll double check them and see if I can make sure that their settings are correct. Because we've had one go wrong. I don't want any more to go wrong.
You could arrange for winning design to be made in Wiltshire.
Mm.
God, that would be pulling strings, wouldn't it?
Did you transfer that file across?
I transferred one. Whether it was the right one or not, I'm not sure.
Thank you very much. I can see it.
Good stuff. Do you know what? I'm not on form tonight, Matt. I'm a little bit tired this evening.
No excuses, Agent S.
What, like yours last week?
Yes. Yeah, you've still got. You could cash in that. I'm freaking out
Yeah.
card if you wish. Yes, we will. We allow that sort of thing in this house. Okay. That's the one. Right, I'm going to get it ready.
White Sheet Hill.
Way, somebody's got... Oh, I'm not supposed to bloody... I should have been like, we won't say yet, but yes.
Oh, Matthew.
They've kind of seen it halfway through, haven't they? They saw it halfway through. Oh, dear. Right. White Sheet Hill. Who said White Sheet Hill?
That was... Who was that? That was Kerno.
Well done, Kerno. You are a god of crop circles.
Kerno will be making formations with his surfboard this year, so I saw earlier.
Ooh, are they light? They're not very light, though, are they? The surfboard's quite heavy. I wouldn't like to.
I think
make
they were
one.
discussing what tools to buy.
A surfboard would be quite heavy because they're designed to sort of, stand up to a bit of punishment, aren't they? A board bends in the middle. It's quite light. You can have it bending. It doesn't matter if it bends a little bit.
I think you'd be surprised actually, even though I think a surfboard might actually be quite light in terms, but lay the crop down harsh. Because I can't imagine you've been surfing, Matt.
Yeah.
Have you been surfing?
I've never been surfing.
So you don't know what a surfboard feels like.
I think I picked one up and it was bloody heavy. As
They
far
are
as I was
heavy,
concerned.
Yeah, but you'd chop it down a bit, wouldn't you? You wouldn't use a... Oh, is he on about using a full one?
That's what I was thinking. A whole bloody
that didn't occur to me
massive
that he might use a whole
surfboard
one.
that's about 12 feet long or something, Yeah. Okay, here we are then. Right, circle design, six-fold. Somebody's got it right. They said it was White Sheet Hill. So somebody's got that one. I mean, it's quite obvious now from looking at it that it is, in fact, White Sheet Hill. We're on 8 minutes, sped up to 300% at this point. Some pieces of footage we've actually sped it up 600%, and that's 6 times, or 2,000%, which is 20 times, depending on the complexity to add brevity, so you don't have to spend the whole time. We're on just about coming up to 11 o'clock, so we've got 1 more hour till 12. We'll probably be finished by then, so we're running on a little bit late tonight, but I'm sure you're enjoying this, because this is how to design crop circles. Your artist designer that is on the screen now is an expert designer, and as we said before, We're not saying that they made these particular crop circles. We're not confirming or denying. We're not suggesting. You have to make your mind up. So, but I would hazard a guess that they know what they're doing. This particular person, he seems to knows quite confident. Not made, and I'm yes, I can state this. I can state this. No mistakes were made. Well,
yeah, that's true.
No
yeah.
mistakes were made, apart from in this one. You'll see in a minute that one of the outer rings is actually slightly in a different position, but it's corrected for. Okay, so there's a correction made in this one, but no mistakes were made. This was the designer came to the house, came in, sat down, and banged out all of these designs. It took about 5 hours, 5 tapes. I've got 5 tapes full of this material, and not one mistake. 5 hours. It was very hot. We had the film lights were on, whilst this was being done, and in the heat, and not really wasting any time. Just as you can see, just going bang, 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 doing these designs. No real mistakes to speak of, and obviously, I would say that is the type of standard of somebody that seems to know what they're doing. Yes, I think you'd agree with me there that this person knows what they're doing. Now they didn't even have the designs sitting next to them. They only had measurement numbers to kind of give them a starting figure to work out the initial center circle and maybe a couple of measurements. So with a couple of measurements written on a piece of paper. Now can you see top left? Can you see up in the top left? One of the arms is a little bit longer. Now then, this is a good example of how you would correct this in the field, because one of those arms is wrong. Okay, one of those arms is wrong. Now that's actually off the top of the screen at the moment, but when we come to it, can you see on the right hand side, the very right hand circle there, the most outermost, it's on its own, it's pointing out at easterly, as it were, at 90 degrees to the right. Yeah, so nearest his hand, or near, just underneath his hand. Yeah, that circle there, not that particular circle, but its brother or sister, which is up further in a counterclockwise direction. Well, it's right up the top now. It's almost straight up. The one we're talking about, that is actually a little bit longer than it should be. So it's sticking out a little bit longer than it should be. But what we're going to show, or the circle designer is going to show, is what you could do to correct that if you made that mistake out in the field. Okay, so it's not a mistake per se, it's something to show what you could do to correct it if you wanted to out in the field. So have a little look at that. It's at the bottom now. It's just underneath the clock, which is showing us 16 minutes. It's the one there. It's a little bit longer. Can you see? It's actually a bit longer than all the others. If you look at all the others around the edge, you'll spot that one is too long. So if somebody had actually made a measurement that was wrong out in the field at night, have a look what's done in a minute to actually correct it, because it's quite interesting. So we can see the inner arcs being done now, which are actually taking the form of like a star made up of arcs, semicircles. Okay, Roger is saying just keep going, Matt. So obviously he's happy to stay on past 11 o'clock. Don't know quite how long we'll be, but we've got one more piece of footage after this. So we're not going to go on all night, but we've got one more piece of footage. Have we got any Skypers? Has anybody suggested that they want to Skype in?
No, nothing.
Nobody. If you want to Skype the show, add CirclemakersTV as a contact, and you can Skype into the show. And let us know by sending us a text message in Skype, or sending us a message in the live stream window saying that you want us to give you a ring, and we can actually bring you on, and you can speak to us whilst the designs are being done. And we're quite happy for that.
Mr. Matthew, do I have a blister on my right index finger?
Right. Remind me to show our hands in a minute. We'll show you that these hands are. We will have to let you decide, I suppose. We can't, you have to decide. We'll show you the hands. You decide if they look like ours or not.
Better just suck the blood out quickly then, hadn't I?
Quick, get rid of the blister now.
Where's the pin?
Yeah, I got a Stanley knife. Any good?
Come on. You've only got to put the camera on my hands. See, that they're miles apart.
Well, we shall have a look. We
Chalk
can't
and
just
cheese.
say that, can we? We've got to actually prove it. We can't just make statements like that. We've got to show our hands, I think. It's only fair, really. So, right, White Sheet Hill is basically an Iron Age hill fort, and it's near a place called Mere, M-E-R-E, in Hants. So it's an extended construction line mistake, as we said, and it's done to explain how it could have been corrected. So the total estimated time for doing that design, we're coming up now on 19 minutes, but the total estimated time it would take to do this design would be about 40 minutes. But like the Milk Hill one, what we're going to show is that to save a little bit of time, what we did is well, not what we did, what the Circle designer did. I'm just filming. What the CircleMaker designer did is he's filling in now the fractal smaller circles. He's using his stencil, but what he's going to do is he's going to do 1 or 2 edges, so 1 or 2 of the 6 edges, and he's going to work on from there. And there's his head mosaiced out. Yeah, you squint your eyes. Sometimes you can kind of work these things out if you squint your eyes, but I don't know. I think we used about the right level of mosaic there. So there's the smaller circles. Now you can see that one's done, another one right next to it. One's done, another one's right next to it. There's actually a slight pen. The pen slipped there on that one, so you can see his little line. Can you see the little line on the bottom one? The pen slipped a bit. So there we are. 1, 2, and then another 3, 4 diamond shapes of these, and then replicating that on, but only doing it for 2 of the 6 arms that come out on this one, and total time would have taken about 40 minutes to do the whole circle if you decided to go ahead and do it the whole way round. But for brevity, we've replicated it on the computer using Photoshop, and we've actually duplicated the arms out to be 6 sets of arms. And then we fill them in, as we've been doing with the other ones. So, what are people saying in channel?
They've mentioned that we haven't seen Darcy since he called in. That's a good point, actually. I haven't seen him in chat tonight.
No, he was there last week, though, wasn't he?
Yes.
He was there. Dorothy, are you hiding? White Sheet Hill, June 2010. 27 minutes it finished at. There is the Photoshop. That doesn't look squished, so for some reason these ones have worked. So that's correct. And then there you can see the extra bits having been duplicated in. That was a Photoshop effect, and now filled in. Now, if you can bring that one up, have you got that one? Because I think I missed out telling you where the corrections were.
Yeah.
The corrections were...
That's it.
Hang on, wait for it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Right, that's the correct one as well. We don't want to see the filled one because the filled doesn't quite work. So there you can see all of it being filled in now, so it would look like the original. You'd expect to see it in the field. And in a second we will see the original formation. So the magic of Premiere, zooming something out and bringing in, there's the original formation. What do you reckon? I think it looks pretty much like it. Definitely a resemblance there. Definitely a resemblance. Whoops, and that one started back up for itself. Naughty, naughty.
Do you want to put this on there then?
Okay, now we're going to try and find the button that allows us to bring this onto screen. So, now, if you have a little look on the edge of the design, one of these circles, which is on the lowest right-hand side, so it's 45 degrees down on the lower right, so if that's going to be about 120 degrees, I'd say. It's going to be about 120 degrees to the clockwise from 12 o'clock then. So going from 12 o'clock, miss the first one, it's the second one. So at about 4 o'clock then, we'll say 4 o'clock. There's a circle which is on the outer bit, and in all the other ones, the circle is on the inner bit. So what you've actually got here is if you'd made a mistake and you'd actually done one wrong, you could create a circle with a radius double the size. Well, you're using a radius and you're taking a circle, the outer circle diameter. No, sorry, outer. What was it? What's it called?
It happens sometimes.
It does happen, yeah, right. So you're taking the outer circle diameter as the radius for the bigger crescent circle that encompasses it. Okay, and that can be done on all of those. So all of those around the edge are actually going outwards. So so there's 5 of them, right, actually have the crescent going outwards, out away from the circle, and the 6th one, which is the one that's too long, actually has its crescent going inwards into the circle. So that's how you could cover up something like that.
That's very intelligent, isn't it?
Bearing in mind that all of that was flattened, you see. So it wasn't actually... all of that was flattened. So all of those areas that would have been a mistake would have been flattened down. So you wouldn't have been able to have told that that was actually too long, because what you could have done is hidden that discrepancy of extra length with a circle of the same size on the outer parts of all of the other ones, and it would have hidden the fact that you'd made a mistake. So it's just an example to show what you can get away with and what you can do. Sure. Now we've got the back of your head now.
Oh, sorry.
Should we have
Is it because the sort of geometry of it, is it the brain can't translate it? It's too complicated, like mathematically. Like, you get the optical illusions.
Mm.
Is it such an easy cover up because your brain can't digest the symmetry?
Well, if you actually flattened all of those areas and you'd actually made the circles bigger over the top of the area you'd made a mistake in, and you actually made all of them bigger, then you're not going to notice unless you actually lift up the crop and look underneath to see the construction lines. You're not going to notice that you didn't intend it that way. I mean, another technique, obviously, which can be used is you just put something very gregarious over that area. You put something very large and unexpected, maybe a square or a triangle or horns or something like that, and then everyone will go, why is that there? What does that mean? And then they'll ignore the fact that it actually was a mistake.
Yeah. So
you put something very gregarious and everyone goes, oh, look, they're trying to tell us something with this in the corner.
Because it works and it shouldn't. Perhaps that's what the trick is.
And everyone will think, because you've got one circle out of the 6, but one of the circles out of the other 5, and then this is the 6, one seems to be slightly offset to the others. So what does that mean? Yeah. You see? So mistakes are never taken as mistakes. They're always taken as something slightly more exciting.
Because you can't comprehend that someone could do it deliberately.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
yep.
It's pushing on.
Okay. So... what is it, pressing on, like Claire Rayner says? Is that the tampon adverts or panty pads? We must press on, and yes, whatever. So Morgan, no, White Sheet Hill. Oh, right. Okay. We're going to move on to another one now.
Last one, is it?
Yep. And we're going to have a little look at what this one is. Yes. So that was White Sheet Hill, and that was Iron Hage Hill Fort near Mere in Hants. And let's just have a little look at anyone in channel if they've got anything. Don't forget, if you want to tell us which one this is, we'll read it out in channel. So okay, yes. Well, let us know what you think it is in channel, and we shall definitely read it out if you're right. So we can see a ruler being used here to take the measurements, as we've seen in some of the earlier ones. So this is subdivision by measurement rather than angles. And how many points have we got here? Let's see if we can work out how many points. This is 1 point. 2 points, pressing in. 3 points, and I think there's a 4th one at the bottom. Yes, we've got quite a few people guessing which one this is in channel, and we'll tell you a bit later on if you're right.
The countdown theme tune. Ding, ding.
Do 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 do.
Do.
Yeah. I'm not going to press any buttons though to get that countdown theme tune to come up, because it'll probably just reset the time on this on this video we're watching. So, yes, I'll have a pee, please, Bob. If you fancy a laugh, type in X-rated countdown on YouTube and have a look. There's quite a funny video you can watch. Have a look at yeah.
Yeah, there's a few, isn't there?
Yeah, blooper or unaired probably countdown, and yes, very funny, very funny. So, has anyone guessed it yet? Goodness, I wonder. Yes, we've got some definite clues now, haven't we? Yes, we've had some clues here. We've got 4 sides, and we seem to have a bit of a clue situation going on.
Why is that then, Mr. Matthew?
I have no idea. Why have we got We've got clues here, haven't we? We've had clues. Yes, we seem to every week. We just cannot prevent ourselves from
Rubbish, aren't we?
Yes, we give away so much every time that we don't mean to. People's names, circle maker names, inferences of what is being done by certain people. Yeah, we just don't seem capable.
An enforcement officer, then they're deliberate mistakes.
Yes, well,
put there to fool you.
Yes, they're there to send you off. Yes, in different directions. They're not there as the truth. We're trying to sort of misdirect you a little bit. Yes. So does anybody really know what this one is? Does anybody really know what this one is? Yeah. They're all quite quiet in channel.
I caught myself being quiet then as well, engrossed in the video.
Yes. And we can see an outer detail being done on this one, which is like a what would you call that? It's a ring of sorts. Yeah, somebody said in channel, GBZ says Glickman is taking notes of all the bloops. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to read into this one, isn't he? Maybe he'll read out to bloody design them, because like I said at the beginning of the show, Michael Glickman reckons these things would take days to draw, and even longer, weeks, to survey into the fields. Yes. Here we go. Goat Boy's coming in with Morgan's Hill. But I'm sorry, Goat Boy. I think somebody called Crossbone said Morgan's Hill a little while ago. Yeah, it's Morgan's Hill. We can say now because you can kind of see it. And what did this idiot presenter go and say? He went, number 11, Morgan's Hill. I mean, White Sheet Hill. Yes, I'm such a fruit. Dear, dear, dear. I'm reading off my notes, not just pressing the button. What a clever person I am.
Matt got it first.
I got it. Yeah, well done. Yeah, I got it first. Yeah.
You're not getting the T-shirt though.
Well, I'm not going to send you any designs in, so I can't win. That would be unfair, wouldn't it? If I send you a design in and for
Why
the competition.
Not? Well, I might do one.
You could
see what Agent S comes up with.
Agent S, yes. You can't win your own T-shirt though, surely.
Yeah.
I
just have to give 2 out, won't I? One for me and one for the runner-up.
Yeah, well, Agent Z, by the way, is got a T-shirt business. So if you want any Crop Circle T-shirts made, have a chat with Agent Z. And
Z or S?
S. Agent S.
I think someone's counting Z's, aren't they?
No. I'm getting confused. I'm looking at GBZ channel. GBZ. And then it made me say Z instead. So we can see we've got this outer encompassing on the design you're seeing in the live stream window now, which is slightly sped up. No, this is normal. Is this normal speed or sped up? That's normal speed. Now it's sped up. There you go. Now it's sped up. So we're on about 10 minutes so far for what's been designed.
Yeah, Crossbone needs a T-shirt made.
There you go.
I'm expecting a joke though.
Shirt made.
There's quite a number of apostrophes there.
Right.
I'm waiting for the pun. Is there a pun, or are you actually... do you need one, Crossbone? Oh, Hedgedread needs one too.
There you go. So the only person who'll have ever earned any money around this area out of Crop Circle Designs will be Agent S then, yeah, selling T-shirts.
Hey, I'm honest. If I can make money out of circles, I won't hide it.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yeah. So if you do want any designs, whether it be the Crop Circle designs or any pictures or anything like that, Agent S has dye sublimation and vinyl stuff. It can do T-shirts.
I can do band shirts. I'm working with a band at the moment, as it happens.
You can do them onto all sorts of materials. You can do cotton at a push. You can do polyesters. You can do.
I've got a 6-colour printer, so I can do full photographic images only on polyester.
Yeah.
I've got a chemical to put it onto cotton, but really cotton, I prefer to use fabric vinyl.
Right. So you can
you've
get
got
yourself
the
a
choice of
T-shirt
the
made
two.
and very cheap as well. You
Yes.
seem too cheap, I've told her. £7 she's been doing these for, and they're like, full colour printed T-shirts and £7.
I could charge 15 for them.
You could easily charge 15.
Yeah.
I know that people do charge that, but if you want something done really cheap, she's not in it for the mega bucks. But she wants to.
I enjoy it.
She enjoys doing it.
As long as it covers the cost of my material. If I can make £2 on an item, I'm happy for my efforts.
Yeah.
A bit of pocket money for myself.
There we go.
Yeah, it's just contact Matt. Matt will give you my.
I'll put you in touch with Agent S.
Yeah.
And you can get your T-shirt with your design, your winning design on it. So there we go. Okay, now we're seeing on the square part that's been penciled in, we're seeing subdivisions done at centimetre intervals. So it's about, was it 8 across? I was seeing there then. I'm not sure it's about 8 centimetres. Let's have a look. Hang on, is the bottom one being done?
Well, it would be 8, wouldn't it?
Seeing a line being done in. Line. So we'll be able to count them in a second because you'll be able to see them quite clearly. So we've got the pencil line at the top and these lines further in. So there's one line beyond that. Good. Okay. We are dealing with Morgan's Hill, by the way. We mentioned that. So this was formed inside an old Roman enclosure on Morgan's Hill. It's near Bishop's Cannings, and I believe it's near a place called Baltic Farm. So if you're driving down the A361 from Beckhampton to Devizes, and you're coming about halfway down that road between Beckhampton and Devizes, looking on your right hand side, there's a place called Baltic Farm. Up behind Baltic Farm there is a square of crop. I know this because I've flown over it quite a few times, and there's a square up there, and I've got a feeling this appeared in that square. So it's a squarish formation inside a square area. A square formation inside a square formation of crop. So quite an interesting one. A little bit out of the way, hard for people to see from the road. So I don't believe it had that many visitors because it was so hard to see. So it maintained its quality. I didn't visit it on the ground. I flew over it many times though. So we're on 24 minutes now. Starting to do diagonal lines across. And what's going on here? Taking a measurement into the centre. Now doing a radius circle that touches all of the insides of the squares.
Hedge Dredge says magic squares more Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
Yeah, whichever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever,
What he
Trevor.
said.
Yeah. Yeah. Pith in your Pythagoras. Yes.
Squares, duh. Have you flown this year at all yet?
I haven't flown this year because my aircraft is broken.
Yeah.
My aircraft is broken and I don't have the money to fix it properly yet. I have just about got enough for second-hand components to go in the engine, which is probably going to make you all go, oh my god, but I've just about got enough for second-hand bits. I wish I could afford new bits, but we're going to repair the piston, the piston blew.
Sellotape.
Yeah. So we're going to repair it with bits and pieces, but I've got a friend of mine that's going to help me out with this, who's a proper motor racing mechanic, builds engines and things.
Well, he uses super glue or something.
Yeah, he's one up on sellotape. He's onto the super glue now.
Glue tack.
Yeah. Well, it should be okay. I mean, I'm not gonna fly it if it's not. But I'm hoping that by doing this repair, that's it. That's all that needs to be done. I hope the rest of the engine doesn't need to be completely restripped and redone. I'm hoping that's it.
You know how these things go.
So there we can see a nice flower pattern starting to appear now in the middle of the design. But I would say as well, if anybody's got any spare cash and wants to donate anything to the show, right, have a look at CirclemakersTV.org, and if you want to make a donation, if it's only 20 quid, I tell you what, it would be well appreciated, because 20 quid would pay for somebody's petrol fees, a Circle Maker, to visit the show and be on the show. So, a little donation like that would go a long way. If anybody wants to donate some of the things we've asked for, I'm looking for a compressor, an audio compressor that would work so that the levels of my audio are always consistent, and the levels of any guest's audio and Agent S's audio, that we're all consistent. The compressor basically takes care of that. Now, they're about 80 quid. That's something I'd like to get hold of for the show to make the audio pucker quality. If anybody wanted to donate any money towards the repair of the aircraft, then what I'd say is that I would definitely be happy to have you as a friend come out with me at some time, do this during the summer, and you could come up and fly in the aircraft with me quite a few times if you're interested in that. I mean, I'm not a commercial pilot, so you would be coming up with me as a friend. The donation you'd make would be something that you could say would pretty much guarantee you quite a few flights in the summer, and I would be your friend for a very long time, as I don't have an awful lot of money to do this at the moment. So there's other things in there. If you want to donate any video equipment, if you've got a high definition video editing setup, you probably know what we're interested in getting. We'd love to get a high definition video mixer so we could do this show in high def. That would be nice, but I'm asking a lot there. But I'm just wondering if anybody's got any of this kit lying around, like any video equipment kit. A 4-core processor would be quite good for enabling me to do more cameras. I could have multiple cameras. I'm only capable of doing 2 at the moment, but a 4-core processor would allow me to have 3 or 4 cameras on this live stream. So this is all for the future, but if anybody's got this sort of stuff, if you happen to have a spare 4-core Intel processor knocking around you're not using, I wouldn't say no. But yes, getting the aircraft up and running would certainly be helpful, because it has been allowing Circle Makers to see their artwork for the very first time, because who the hell can afford to fly at £100 an hour in flying schools?
And it may well be a busy year this year.
It may be a busy year this year. I'm hearing some Circle Makers saying that they're thinking of boycotting the year, but I really don't know whether that'll happen. I think that this is often talked about, but we can, we always see circles appear. I'd be very surprised if there aren't circles out there this year, but maybe there'll be another boycott of the central area. We don't know. Maybe there'll be something like that, something which will make a point that proves that the humans are making circles for all to know, as long as that information gets passed out there by the circles researchers, which it probably won't.
Your aircraft, is it a microlight?
It's a microlight, yeah. It's a microlight. It's a T600N Sprint. T600N Sprint by the Thruster Aircraft Corporation. And it has a 2.2 litre Jabiru engine on it, which they're pretty reliable, but mine seems to have built up a bit of rust from non-use over just about 2 months non-use, basically, has caused the piston barrel chamber to rust, and then basically the piston has overheated and gone bong. So if you've got a car and you leave it out, you could possibly suffer a similar sort of fate with a car. You've got to keep these things running all the time. You've got to run them, at least a couple of times a week. Otherwise, it's like disc brakes. They'll build up a bit of rust on a disc with it overnight. Have you ever seen a disc brake? Overnight, you'll get rust on it. And it's exactly the same sort of situation with a piston. There's a bit of oil in there, which should help a bit, but you've got to keep these things lubricated. You've got to keep them moving and not leave them, otherwise this will happen. So it's taught me a lesson. Not that I'd like to be out flying in the winter, and obviously the rain doesn't allow you to do it, but certainly that you have to. You certainly have to keep these things well maintained. It's not something you can just
fix with cardboard.
No. Sellotape and blue tack, just don't cut it. So if anybody wants to donate, by all means let us know, and I will definitely take you up in the summer.
A tremendous show tonight, Matt. Is this the master doing his drawings?
Well, we can't say who this is. We have to let you guess, but It's certainly somebody who's got a very good skill, I would say. It's certainly, somebody who knows what he's doing to be able to bang out 11 of these designs. Freehand. Well, not freehand because he obviously is using a compass and a protractor, but he hasn't had a design sitting there. He's just had the numbers of his initial measurements, and I can guarantee you, I won't have to guarantee you that this isn't how it went, because we've sped it up a bit. You're seeing it's 1 hour. This is on. He's used up 1 hour to design this one and fill it in. Okay, so this one's being properly filled in, unlike the others. So you're actually getting to see the whole thing. But to come along, sit down, and in 5 hours it took him to just go through all these designs and not restart. He didn't rip it up and start again. He just went from beginning to end. What was there was there. And you're going to see it on YouTube. We're going to upload it. There we are, 1 hour, 5 minutes to do this design from beginning to end. So it just gives you an idea of what you can do. There's a bit more, actually. He hasn't finished yet. Look, no, he hasn't finished.
Someone said it looks like something you'd see in a mosque, and it's very Islamic. Not that people have been into such things.
Yeah. You might have to speak a little bit louder.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. So yes, it does look like a mosque design. I likened it to something you'd see in a Victorian house. If you're on an upstairs floor and you look down into the hallway and you see these types of pattern designs in the tiles on the floor.
Yeah.
It used to be something the Victorians were into quite a lot.
I guess the only mosque element for me is the corners of the four corners. Just and with the little dots either side.
Yes.
It's like a church kind of roof.
Yes. Oh, he hasn't finished for sure. I know why, because if you see in now, there's lines being ruled in around the edge. Now, those are being done with a silver pen. So that he's switched over now to being a silver pen. Now, you're going to see it a little bit close up. So he's lining in the edges. There's a reason for this. You'll see it in the final design, because there's silver pen. It's a bit hard to see, a little bit hard to see. But thanks for saying this is a good show tonight. We did want to blow you away, and I think we may have done it with this. The intention was to show you just how circle designers work and the skill levels you've got. Now, people say, put your money where your mouth is. Show us making a circle at night in the dark. Well, what we're doing with this one is we're putting our money where our mouth is in terms of bringing you a very good circle designer, and we're showing you just what skill level they have, how long it takes them to work, and as we say, we're going to put the high-def, unsped up versions of this on YouTube, so you can see there's no jiggery-pokery. It's as you see. We've tried to put the corner shot up as well, so you can see that the two things are linked. They're exactly in sync, and there's no tricks being played here. This is from start to end. We didn't play any tricks. This person has worked tirelessly for 5 hours, circle after circle after circle after circle, bang, 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 bang. They're correct as far as I'm concerned. They're correct to the original idea of these designs. You have to take the scans away, which we're going to upload on CirclemakersTV.org. There we are. Can you see down on the lower edges? The lower edges, there's actually off there's a square line going around the edge, and it's what was represented by that silver pen. Okay, so that was what was represented there by the silver pen, and it was round the edges. And if you look in the photograph, the original design, look at the photograph, and you will see around the edges where that silver line was, that is represented by crop that was laid down in different directions around those square bits on the edges, different directions. So you'd have to pick it up and have a look, but you'd see that those square bits were there, or have a look at a close-up photo. So everything that was in that design, which took about, was it 1 hour 20, 1 hour 40? I'm thinking now. 1 hour 20 or 1 hour 40. It's all there. Everything's in that design. So that was Morgan Hill. It's formed within an old Roman enclosure. The colouring was done by hand, not by Photoshop. So that was one out of all the designs you've seen that was done by hand. And when comparing this one to the photo, obviously, you've got to look at that weave, yeah? So that edge bit, the silver bit, you have to look at the original design and compare, and then you'll see that weave that was around the edge in the silver pen. That's there. So, that's the designs. That is what we've got tonight. You've seen some pretty amazing stuff. You've seen the skill level of the designer, and you've seen just what it takes to make a crop circle design. So with simple tools, very simple tools, protractor, compass, ruler, which represent completely the types of tools you'd use in a field to work. Your ruler represents the tape measure. Okay, so that's the ruler, is your tape measure in the field. Your compass is representative of one person standing on one side of the field in one position, reeling out the tape to another person who then scribes around the circle. So that is representative of your compass, which you draw on the page, which you scribe. That's exactly the same tool. It represents you putting the point in the center position, the outer part being the person who's scribing the line, which is your pencil line or your pen line that you're scribing around. Okay, you take your measurements from your tape measure, which is your ruler, okay, and then you've basically got the flattening, which is pen, that was represented with a pen tonight, and using a marker pen or shading it in with pencil. That shading is done with your stomper board, and the stomper board allows you to flatten wider areas by the technique, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, of stomping down. And quite often, we've mentioned this before on my YouTube channel, 1 meter wide seems to be generally used on these things. It's just a sort of a very basic figure that wood comes in pallet boards, for instance. Pallet boards just happen to be about 1 meter wide. That's the standard dimensions of a pallet board. And if you look in some of the designs that are actually out there, you'll see comb marks of 1 meter width having been used to flatten crop circles. So it gives you an idea of the types of tools you're using. So what we need to do is we need to see if we've got any questions in channel. And if anybody wants to Skype in, they're more than welcome to do so. Somebody's just said we've had 30 viewers tonight.
Yep.
All night. But I bet you when word gets out of this show tonight,
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of people viewing in this channel and looking at this one, because they'll be going, fuck me.
You've just got reams of thanks and praise at the minute.
Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And thank you to the circle designer, who has made a lot of effort to come in and do a 5-hour marathon. And I think it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, this is what Circle Makers TV should be about. It should be about putting our money where our mouth is, bringing you the best stories, the best ideas, the best footage, and really laying it on the line for the researchers and saying, come on then, let's see you do this. Let's see how you can design this stuff. Let's see what you've got to offer. And I think this channel is really making great strides to actually bring the researchers closer to the circle makers and change it so that the stories of the circle makers can be told and that people can understand the truth. And it's not necessarily about destroying it all. If you've watched the show so far and you think that we're out to sort of destroy crop circles, no. We tell stories about the paranormal experiences that the circle makers have had and the researchers have had in man-made circles. So it's not about destroying crop circles, it's about helping people to understand where this stuff is really coming from. So that's what we're about.
Every week's been a success, really, hasn't it? In its own way, in its own rights. So I think that should encourage people to, to come on the show. Anybody that's shy and coming forward, do Skype in, do make your request to appear on the show. Yeah, everybody's welcome.
Well, that's your invitation. If anybody's out there that wants to come on the show, there's your invitation. We're obviously a little bit strapped for cash, so if we can help you with your petrol, we will. But as I say, it's really not an easy thing for me to manage to pull this money out of the bag, because I mean I do spend most of any spare cash I've got, and I've had to sell a lot of stuff in order to get this aircraft thing going. And a lot of people think, oh, you must have loads of money if you've got an aircraft. Well, at the end of the day, it's my friends actually donate the petrol money to go flying, and they put 20 quid in the tank. It costed me about 500 quid a year to do the insurance, and about 300, 400 quid to get the thing permitted. And then it's basically the cost of the aircraft, which I sold a lot of stuff. I sold a lot of my gear and was loaned a little bit of money by a friend to actually get the aircraft, and it took me quite a bit of time to pay the loan back. So I've had a few friends help me out, but it's running costs basically for something like that. And if you want to donate to the show, that would be great, because we've got circle makers who will come down from a long way away, but I literally can't afford 50 quid for their petrol money. So I've got to prioritise for certain things. If you want to help the show, get some circle makers on from a distance. If you are a circle maker who can come on from a distance, and if you can get down here, if you can get down without us having to donate, that would be great. But if you need a donation, let us know also, and we'll see whether we can get a few people together to actually help cover your costs. But let us know. We're up for it.
What's the CAA, Matt? Is that some child's...
The CAA are listening and taking notes. Civil Aviation Authority.
He says that GBZ, I think he's having a bit of a joke. He says that like he's talking about the tax man after my T-shirts and stuff.
The CAA is the Civil Aviation Authority.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was a child
I'm not
association.
breaking any laws by... my aircraft is insured. My aircraft is permitted with the British Microlight Aircraft Association, and I fly it legally, which, believe it or not a lot of people out there. There's quite a few people out there flying microlights that don't actually fly them legally, but I actually fly mine legally. It's permitted, and you can actually look up the details on the CAA's website, because I am registered. I have got my aircraft registered there, so it's all perfectly legal. But as to my suitability to fly, no, I would never fly under the influence of either this, or I don't take anything that isn't actually prescribed to me and allowed for me to take. I certainly wouldn't go drinking and taking any of my antidepressants before going flying, put it like that. So. And
Matt's car is fully legal. I think we covered that last week.
My cars are fully legal these days. I have in the past. I've been a naughty boy many years ago. Many years ago, I've got into a bit of trouble for not having my cars legal and fully insured. But this has taught me that it's actually, in the long run, it's much cheaper and easier to keep it fully legal. Plus, they've got all these cameras now that just bloody pick you up straight away and radio ahead to a 5.0 that are sort of hiding down some alleyways, and they just get you. So yeah, you've got to be legal these days. You just can't get away with these things anymore. So but do please donate. We do need to get some other circle makers in from further afield, and we got guys up in Cambridgeshire, we got guys up in North London. I'm not going to be more specific than that. I nearly sort of like, we've got people down in Essex that want to come over, and we've got people from Yorkshire that want to come down. There's somebody in Hampshire that actually has been in the chat channel and has expressed an interest in coming on the show. All of these people are welcome, but it would be nice if we could try and cover some of the costs. So
I thought GBZ might have been joking, but he's making enough comments here now for me to think that he's actually got an eye on you.
Yeah, GBZ. He says he believes it's illegal to take money for flying without a commercial license.
You've already said that, haven't you?
Yes, I'm not actually taking money for taking people flying. What I'm saying is, if somebody wants to help pay for the repair costs of my engine, then I will, at some point during the summer, be able to repay them with giving them flights. Now, that's not taking money for flights on a particular occasion. You are allowed to actually fly legally in a microlight if you share the costs.
At the end of the day, his plane needs fixing and he hasn't got the money. So if somebody wants to donate and help him out, he's saying then naturally...
I wouldn't be doing it legally. Say, for instance, if I took somebody flying now, and I said to them, right, I want £100 to go flying now. That's illegal. You're not allowed to do it. Yeah, I'm not insured to do it, and nobody is insured to take anyone for commercial flying with a microlight. You're not allowed to do it. There are no commercial licenses available. Nobody is allowed to have a commercial license for flying a microlight. So the only way you can do it legally is by them being a friend of yours. They cannot ring you up and say, hey, I'd like to go flying today. I don't know you. Yeah, that's illegal. Yeah. they have to be a friend of yours, so they have to be somebody you know, and they have to be covering half of the costs, no more. You're not allowed to cover half the costs.
I'm actually wondering if GBZ is Glickman. Every time I see G, I think, is that Glickman?
Yeah. So basically, if somebody wants to help me with my running costs of my aircraft, then they are basically making a part donation towards the costs. Yeah, I'm not guaranteeing them a flight on a commercial basis. They're a friend. They're covering half my costs. That's great. I mean, I'm not going to be able to. There's no way that I could take all the money.
Oh, okay.
I've still got to pay my half of the
He's
share.
saying, actually, he's not joking. He's been in a similar position himself. He's had this problem himself, so that's what he's kind of getting at. Really.
You've got to be very, very careful with it, and that's why I do it legally. I always say to everyone that flies with me that they can donate towards the petrol, but I actually say, well, you're actually only allowed to pay half. So people who come with me, they end up paying half the cost of the flight. So this is the trouble is, I've got to put the other half in. So I have to do that legally. I have to put the other half of the petrol costs. But see, if somebody comes flying with me and they're only allowed to pay the petrol, half the petrol, they're still not paying my insurance. They're not paying my permitting. They're not paying for repairs to the aircraft. They're just paying half the petrol, you see. So if somebody wants to help donate towards the repair costs, then I will take them out and, take them flying. But it's not to say they're actually paying for going flying. They're not paying me for going flying. They're just donating towards the repair of the engine. If they're paying me to go flying, then I'm not allowed to do it. It's something different, isn't it? So, somebody could come along and say, well, I'll buy the aircraft for you.
There's something
It's
in
not
that,
illegal.
though.
It's not illegal for them to come and buy the aircraft for me.
It's a bit cheeky, though. Like, how many friends would you expect to have a lift in a car with and then not pipe up and say, oh, do you want a couple of quid for that?
Yeah.
Yes.
But to keep legal, you're not allowed to actually charge people in aircraft terms.
You've got to be pretty anal You've got to be pretty anal to report that kind of thing, though, haven't you? You've got to be really... You've got to have a vengeance of some kind to have a moan about that, really, I would say.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
But anyway, I keep myself legal. And in fact, I've made complaints about flying issues to the CAA, and the CAA have come out and investigated what I've actually had to complain about, because there have been some flying incidents that have happened to me, and I've had to make a complaint because I had to report what happened. And the CAA have come out and actually spoke to me, and if I wasn't doing it legally, they would have said, oi, you can't complain to us because you're flying illegally. So the CAA have actually come out and spoken to me. So I'm not doing anything wrong. Otherwise, they would have said, oi, who the hell are you? And why haven't you got your license? And why haven't you got your aircraft insured? And all that sort of stuff. No, I do it the right way. I've been fully trained. And for the money I've spent in getting my lessons, I'm not going to jeopardise that by dicking around because I enjoy it too much. So, yes. If somebody wanted to make trouble for me, I've been told, they could contact the CAA. But I'm only taking friends up. I'm not taking anyone apart from friends. So if anybody comes to me and says, well, you went flying the other day, and I'd say, well, yeah. And they say, well, who is it with? And I say, well, I'll give you their phone number. And it's like, well, do you know this person? Of course they know me, because I wouldn't take anybody but friends up. Now, I'm not doing anything illegal, you see. There are a lot of, I must say, there are quite a few aircraft establishments in the area, including the one I originally trained with, called Yatesbury. It's the Wiltshire Microlight School. Wiltshire Microlight School operate illegally by taking people up for commercial flights over the crop circles. So if you want to report somebody, report that little fucking shit, yeah? Because he made my life pretty much fucking hell with some of the shit he pulled up there when I was learning to fly. He's doing it illegally. He's not insured because you can't get insurance for commercial flying. He says that he's taking people up on air experience flights, yeah? This is how he gets around it, yes?
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He says he's taking people for air experience flights. In other words, he's taking people up on a trial lesson. So when you get in the aircraft, you expect to have a go on the controls, to be instructed on how the thing flies, yes? And you'd expect he would tell you how to start the engine, shut the engine off, do some of that, and let you have a go on the stick when you're flying, yeah? No, he doesn't do any of that. If you're into crop circles and you want to rent an aircraft for £100 an hour, and go up flying over the crop circles with your camera. You get in the aircraft, you tell him where you want to go, he flies you over the crop circles, you take your photos and you pays you money and then you go. And he won't give you instructions. He won't give you any form of lesson. So you're telling me that that's not illegal, yeah? If somebody wants to report somebody, they should report Tony Hughes, yeah? And he has been reported in the past, I know this, Tony Hughes, for flying people without insurance, illegally, in microlights. And he's been doing it for fucking years, and the guy makes his living, yeah? The guy makes his living out of it. You know, he puts all that money into the bank and spends it on his house. He's doing it commercially, you know. He lives off this money, which is gained through the crop circles. And when I was learning to fly up there, he was a bastard to me, and he knew I was a circle maker, and he was a fucking bastard to me. And I ended up going somewhere else to finish off my test, because the little bastard was jealous that he thought that I was going to learn how to fly, and I was going to be taking up people commercially. He honestly thought I was going to do what he was doing. I've never done that. I mean, you know, you could probably say in the summer of last year, probably took about maybe 20 friends flying in the summer. He takes about 200 a month, yeah, commercially flying. You know, it probably more. In the heat of the summer, he's taking about 200-300 people a month, yeah, flying over the crop circles. This guy makes a fucking mint out of illegally flying. And if he ever has an accident, if he crashes with somebody in that aircraft and they're injured, they're not insured.
Have you ever dropped
Disgusting.
anything out of a microlight, Matt?
No, I've never dropped anything out of my microlight. I was going to drop something, my dog's ashes, actually. I was going to fly over my old house and I was going to release my dog's ashes out of the aircraft, but I haven't actually got round to it.
Well, we had an opportunity to, didn't we? And we just kind of said against it because we didn't know what the wind would do.
But no, I've never dropped anything out of an aircraft, but I think I know somebody who has dropped some leaflets out of an aircraft. I did hear about this over the barge in. Somebody went and dropped some leaflets, but I'm not going to say who that is. But it wasn't me. They may be referring to that. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they're referring to that.
What are you scoffing? You got any left?
No, sorry. Sherbet's in the sherbet.
No,
sherbet.
one of them.
Here we go, then.
No, I don't want that one.
Oh dear. So there we go. We're coming up to about the witching hour.
The rant hour.
So there we go. Here we are. It's the rant time, yeah. But there you go. See, I mean, there are people out there that are doing microlighting illegally, and they're the people you see flying over the crop circles. Okay? I mean, you know, you've got to bear this in mind. And people like Lucy Pringle, who went and reported certain microlight schools and certain aircraft schools for flying people illegally. She went and reported them. She said, ew, they're flying illegally, to try and make sure that they were stopped flying so that she would be the only person flying. And she would be the only one that was enabled to get out and get the photos of the crop circles before anybody else. You see, this is what Lucy Pringle did to some people in the flying schools, right? But what they don't know is that Lucy Pringle now flies microlights to take photos of crop circles. She ain't getting lessons, so it's illegal. Yeah, it's totally illegal. Because she's not getting lessons.
You're getting involved in the politics now, aren't you? You can't really talk about that stuff. That's not really...
But what I'm saying is, right, this is the hypocrisy. She wanted to stop people from flying, doing what she's doing. She wanted to stop them from flying, so she reported them to the CAA and said they're doing this illegally. And then she goes and flies with the microlights that she went and reported as doing it illegally.
You find this, though, the people that shout the loudest have usually got the most to lose. Like, people like to take ownership of things. If people are shouting and harping at you, it probably means that they're protecting themselves. They're diverting the light off them onto you so they can keep on going with what they're up to.
Yeah, well, what it was, initially, you see, she was flying in Cessnas and Tomahawks and things like that, you know, big old bloody aircraft that you can fly commercially. You can get a commercial license, you can fly those things, you can fly helicopters, they're commercial aircraft. You know, you've got a commercial license, not a problem. You can take people over the crop circles, yeah? But what she was doing is reporting the non-commercial microlights, yeah? But then guess what? She didn't have enough money then to fly in the big Cessnas and Tomahawks. She didn't have any money anymore, so she had to downgrade her activities to flying microlights. And then, of course, who's the big friggin' hypocrite then? You're then doing what you told other people not to do.
But the thing is, the human being is a hypocrite. We're full of it. All of us are, and it's great to point them out. It's the people that become hypocrites that are the people that should be coming out saying, "Do you know what? I'm a hypocrite." It's an easy thing to do, to point out that someone's being a hypocrite, Matthew. That's an easy thing to do, but it's not so easy for a hypocrite to come out and say, "Hey, I'm a hypocrite."
Jesus wants to please you.
Shall I go and get Cassie for 2 minutes?
What are you doing, Jesus?
We promised to bring her in this week.
Jesus is head banging. We did promise. Yes. Do you want to go and get her in then?
I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Oh, GBZ says I'm a hypocrite.
Oh, Lucy claimed that it was others reporting her. Oh, yeah, you see, that's the Glickman factor, isn't it? It's like, oh, no, I didn't do it wrong. It was actually somebody else reported Matthew Williams to the police. It wasn't me. I never reported anyone to the police. It wasn't me that reported Matthew Williams to the police. And, of course, it was him that reported me to the police, because when I got his statement from the police, actually with his name signed at the bottom of his frigging statement. So, yeah, it's like Lucy Pringle, sort of, oh, no, I never reported anyone else. They were reporting me. Yeah, right, you've done nothing wrong. Yeah, exactly, Like you don't tell anybody that bloody crop circles are made by people either, I've done nothing wrong. I'm just actually making sure that I can make money. It's not doing anything wrong, is it? So, yeah, right. But, so, anybody in channel? Yes, somebody says, Kernow says, judge and you'll be judged yourself. And Hedgedread says, spineless toads. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and cretins even, yeah. But there we are. So, yes, Crossbone says, you're not allowed to take pictures for commercial gain. No. I could take photos from my microlight because it's my interest, but I shouldn't sell those photos. I shouldn't really sell them to a magazine or allow them to be used in a commercial sense. So, if I was doing an article for a magazine, I would have to give those photos away. I might be able to charge for doing at a push. I might be able to write about something and earn money from writing, but the photographs, technically, they would have to be given away for free because they would have been something that I did in my microlight. That's the way it would have to be. But it could be argued that was commercial, and you'd have to make a case against what you were doing. But ultimately, yes, no commercial gain. There's not meant to be any commercial gain in microlight flying, and the only exemption is for people who. Oh, here we go. We've got a Cassie in here now. Cassie! Got my Jesus.
Leave Jesus alone.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Who's this? Wait. Who's this? Who's this? There's Cassie. Oh, she's looking around for food. She's interested in the food, but she's a good girl. Yeah, she's getting a bit old now. She's 13 years of age. She's starting to get twitches, little twitches. She's a good girl, aren't you? Yes, there you go. So we brought Cassie in for you, and it's about time to finish up with the show now. So, how does Lucy get away with the books and paper? With the books and paper, well, she could say that. Watch, the microphone's about to go. Sorry. There's Cassie making noises into the mic. So Lucy gets away with it probably because she says that these photos were gathered when she was doing it by flying in commercial aircraft rather than flying in microlights, which is what she does now.
Surely if you take a picture, it's your ownership.
Yeah, so it's not that, it's how you did it, whether you did it in an aircraft. Oh, it's your ownership, and you can sell it if you want to, but you have to suffer the consequences of getting the pilot in trouble, because you won't be in trouble, he will. The pilot who took you is not supposed to fly people who are going to use their materials in a commercial manner. It's the pilot will get in trouble, not the person. Oh yeah, it's the pilot. Because if the pilot has got a commercial license and he's flying a Cessna, he's allowed to do it. If the pilot doesn't have a commercial license and he knows that you're using those photos in order to make money, he shouldn't fly you.
But then that means that the person taking the picture would have to grass up the pilot.
Or somebody else.
At liberty to divulge that.
Yes, or as Lucy Pringle did, Lucy grassed up other people who were flying to try and make sure that they didn't fly anymore, so she was the only one flying. So she could sell her pictures and her books.
God, there's no end to the depths that people sink, is there?
So she grassed up the other pilots and made a big thing with the, taxi drivers can make a commercial gain, Crossbone is asking. But of course, a taxi driver has got commercial insurance for taking passengers. And the taxi driver also then has to have a license from the council. That license may involve a police check to make sure that they're not, sex offenders or whatever, carrying the public, so it's for safety. And that license will allow them to operate in a certain manner. Now, if they pay a certain amount of money per year, they can have a commercial license to operate as a hackney carriage, which means that they can pick people up off the street. But if they're a private taxi, which is much easier to get a license to be a private taxi driver, if you've got that license and you're paying to do it that way, then you can only pick people up if they ring up and book a taxi. You're not allowed to just pick people up on the street, and if you get caught, you'll get fined. You could even have your license removed from you. So it's not something that even if you for instance now, if Agent S is driving to work in your car, then that's getting to work. That's okay. Your insurance will cover you for that. But if you use that car to go around during the day, during work, yes, for something to do with work, and you haven't got the insurance for that, and you have an accident...
I found this out literally recently.
If you haven't got the insurance and you have an accident and you're driving around on time when you're meant to be in work, then that's work's time. You're meant to have vehicle insurance and liability insurance for commercial reasons. And if your insurance isn't there and the insurance company say, well, what were you doing when you were driving? You say, well, I was just taking some stuff from work to home, because I had some work to do. Well, that's work, yeah? So you've got to be very careful about what you say, otherwise you invalidate your insurance and you won't get any money off them if you have an accident. So.
Well, yeah, but come on, they'll look through your file with a fine tooth comb to make sure that they find something to make your insurance invalid.
Yes.
That's their job.
Yeah, they want you to have business insurance, basically, yeah. So you've got to be careful with this stuff. But yes, I stay on the right side of the line. I don't take the piss with my microlight. I just fly CircleMaker friends of mine and people I know, friends of mine.
I was impressed with your professionalism. You're very... I don't see many people taking on what they've learnt in school kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't that good in school, but to be honest, I love flying, so I take it very seriously.
But it's clear that you listened and you understand what it is that you have to do, with your checks and stuff.
Yeah.
And looking out for other planes and things.
Yeah, well... Always enjoys it. So here's Cassie. Look, Cassie Bobs. Oh, Cassie Bobs. Kisses. Kiss. Oh, baby. She's a good girl. So there you go, folks. That's CircleMakers TV and Cassie the dog and the expert circle designer. And we hope you've enjoyed it very much. So we're just on 1 minute away. So thanks a lot, and
thank you.
Don't forget, tell your friends.
And send in your designs for the competition.
Send in your design, and you can win. It will be judged by the circle designer, and then we will say which one won. It'll have to be done before next week. CirclemakersTV.org is our website address, and you can get our email address from that. And any donations welcome. There's a donations button on the thing, and, whatever. I mean, I dare say nobody will donate a penny towards this bloody show, but as long as you're watching it, that makes us happy. As long as you're watching it, and tell your friends, and we'll see you next week at Wednesday, maybe at 8 o'clock, because a few people have been saying they'd like us to start earlier, so yeah, maybe 8 o'clock next week. So thanks very much, and see you soon.
You gonna have a chat then, Cass?
Yeah.
Speak down the mic. Go on then.
Oh, Cassie. Oh, Cassies. Cassie. Cass. Cassies. Oh.
What do you think of the circles, Cass?
Oh. Look at go. Oh. Cassie Bobs. Cassie Bobs. Cassie Bobs.